And we're live.
Hey.
Felt like a great moment to do it. Yeah, let's do
Who
it.
wants
Hand me a
one?
beer here, man.
I would like one.
That was pretty smooth.
Yeah, so
down
for our
the line.
Hippie Shack session,
sir.
beer of the day, we're doing the Great Lakes Brewing Company Christmas Ale.
It's festive.
Ale
What's the
with
date today?
spices and honey.
Today is, I believe, December 14th.
13.
Yeah, okay.
December 13th.
13.
Monday
Thank
the
you, yeah.
13th.
We're pretty much right on time. It's Christmas ale season.
Hell yeah.
Will you hand me one, Jackie J?
Great.
Speaking of
Lakes.
shotguns,
You want to shotgun the glass bottle?
no. The 8th, December 8th, I believe, was the day Dimebag was shot.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no shit.
That was in Columbus, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty
I
sure.
don't know
So
what
I-
Dimebag is.
Oh,
Dimebag Daryl,
oh man. Well,
he got shot in a live show.
bro,
in
Dimebag
Columbus.
Daryl's the goat,
Damn.
who also looks like a goat.
Yeah, he kind of
Yeah,
did.
he's kind of always had that Billy Goat ass beard, but he rips, man.
Yeah.
He's like really, bro, come on. The solo in Walk is one of like the tastiest metal solos ever, bro.
Sweet.
He's
Bro.
pretty fantastic.
I knew a musician
He's
one
amazing,
time,
man.
and then he went to New Orleans and got shot in the face for his guitar.
Oh.
All right, guys. Cheers.
That's what we call a good night in New Orleans.
Alrighty.
Welcome to Tuesday afternoon in New Orleans.
One of my earliest memories of knowing a musician.
Wow.
Hey, you know that guy you talked to the other day? Got shot.
Well, shit. I'm sorry for laughing. You just,
Yeah. I thought that was
Hold on.
The shock value.
Yeah, you laughed after like.
How long ago is this?
I think it is fun. It was like 10 years ago.
Oh, okay,
It
okay.
was like when
so
I was
it's
a kid.
funny now.
Okay, yeah. man.
oh, so this is like
This was
we're
like last week
We're
or something.
unraveling
You're like, oh,
post trauma.
fuck,
Right
Yeah,
now.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. The trauma that led up to trauma.
Is that
Oh,
it? Yeah.
So who was the one that actually went to the hospital
That was
for that?
well. We all went
Was
to the
it-
hospital.
You
but-
all did?
Yeah, I was the one that got the worst, and I was the one that was
Gotcha.
called Trauma Illinois in the hospital.
Who's the, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I read that on Spotify, but I never knew that.
Yep, it was fun.
Jackie
Really
J.
I was
fun.
It was
actually
like a car
technically
crash,
not there.
or-
Yeah, I got in a car wreck. Yeah, and then so
The Trauma, Illinois.
I went into shock. So my heart stopped briefly, which is, I mean, that happens.
Yeah.
But you know, and then so they had to
Nice.
get my heart back, and then I went to the ICU for 2 days.
Had to
'cause they were-
kickstart his
they were
heart, man.
Yeah. And they were monitoring me for removing my pancreas because I had internal bruising
Yeah.
on my pancreas. It was so bad that they thought it was just gonna die inside
Yeah.
me. And luckily it didn't, and I don't have to live on a machine and take 18 pills a day.
Well, fuck. Maybe we should take a shot now. I'll tell you.
And
Yeah, dude.
cheers
If I
to
did a shot every time I thought about
organs
it,
working.
I'd be
Yep.
drunk all the time. No, it actually gave me a new lease on life. I completely changed after that and felt I think I don't take on stress as much. Like even if I have a lot of responsibilities, I'm still able to sort of
feel like it could be worse.
yeah. I just remember what
dead.
it was like. What do you mean? You saying I get stressed?
Yeah.
Yeah, but think of how much responsibility I
Yeah.
have in any given time.
I know. I'm
Yeah,
just,
man.
lot.
I remember talking to you
I'm
at the
just
Mad
messing
The
Frog.
amount that
You
I'm
seem
stressed does not necessarily proportionally.
yeah, I'm just
Go
pulling your
along.
leg. I'm just
In the
pulling your leg.
inverse property of Uncle Benisms, that means you hold a lot of power inside of you. So
Like the guy from the rice.
no, like the guy from Spider-Man. Rice.
Oh, yeah, he got shot.
Like Uncle Ben said, with great rice comes great responsibility.
That's right.
Oh,
That's
fuck.
right. Amen.
Exactly.
Amen, brother.
That's fucking
Amen,
awesome.
brother.
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 How did you guys get started in this? Like, what?
Hold on, before we do that,
Okay.
so let's introduce you real quick. So yeah, with us today are two of the fine gentlemen from the band Tasteful, based right here out of Cincinnati. Introduce what are your names, please?
I'm Hunter Brookbank.
I'm Sam Smith.
Yes.
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 Yeah. Thanks for coming
Yes.
again, guys.
Yeah,
Hell
absolutely.
yeah,
I know
man.
a little
Thanks
bit of
for
a-
having us.
You-
Sorry for barging in on you this morning, but well, I guess this afternoon. I don't know.
It doesn't
This
take a
point,
lot
it's
for
morning
me
for
to
us.
come,
Enough
man.
further matters
It's all
now.
It was
Yeah,
more
yeah.
than me
Glad to
too.
be here.
Truth is what everyone agrees on, not what's real.
This was a long time coming. You know, we
There you
really
go.
Yeah.
we've needed to hang out and
Yeah,
just
man.
talk anyway, man. Like it's
I
been
agree.
this is like really I've been having a beautiful day so far.
Yeah, we've
Likewise.
been meaning to
Yeah.
get down here and see you boys for a while, so I'm
Yeah.
glad that we could get this together.
Any day where I
Yeah.
can
No.
sleep until 12 is a good
Randomly.
day for me.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
plan.
It's
Pretty
Monday.
happy.
You done with
Somebody-
finals and everything, man?
I just finished my capstone proposal yesterday.
Hell yeah.
We're doing. I'm going to study galaxy clusters, and so galaxy
Still.
clusters can be in a relaxed state, where they haven't been touched or moved around for a while,
Yeah.
or they can be in a state where they're interacting with other clusters and it's really chaotic and crazy. And so I'm just going to be like identifying different galaxy clusters and what their properties are and stuff.
Hell yeah, man. So what's up? Sounds like some
Real
physical
science.
shit.
We could definitely get back into physics, but first, I want to hear the origin story.
Yeah,
Please,
no,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Absolutely, man. Well,
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 it all
first of
started
all-
with the Big Bang.
just to preface. Well, I've known this boy for quite a while now. We've been best friends since high school.
Where'd you go to high school?
We both went to St. X.
Oh.
Been bulling, playing the music
Wow.
for a good amount of
brother went
time.
to St. X.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Really?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm
Good
good,
shit.
friends with your brother, man.
Um,
Absolutely.
But yeah, Sam used to have these parties at his house, close to senior year, and we would just set up set up a kit, set up instruments, and we would have open jams. And then I think it was like summer 2018.
2018,
Yeah.
yeah.
We just had one of those. I had actually known of Karthik. And I didn't know Frank, but I think I had actually jammed with Car once before.
So who are the other two
kinda
members?
forget
Like,
where-
maybe you should introduce them. Maybe.
So our drummer is Karthik Raturi, and rhythm guitarist is Frank Cassidy. They both went to Indian Hill.
Frank Cassidy. That's like
Frank
the most
Cassidy.
rock
I
star
know,
name.
dude,
Yeah,
isn't
that's-
it?
that's pretty rock
Frank's
star
got
name.
Frank's
Yeah.
probably got I don't know, Sam Smith, that's a pretty good name,
That's a
but
good
Frank's
one,
got a
too.
good one, yeah.
That's a good one too.
Damn, God.
He got loaded up.
I mean, Frank
yeah.
Cassidy's been used before. I've never heard of another Sam Smith.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah, man. He's the real Sam Smith over here. Fucking- We said we need to start a conspiracy that the other
that's
Sam
right.
Smith doesn't exist.
Wait,
Yeah, we got
What are you
Sam
talking-
Smith
my
and
name's
Jack Johnson.
My name's Jack Johnson. So it's like
Well,
it's like the same situation.
Yeah.
There's no other Sam Smiths on this planet.
Yeah, no, of course not.
No other
Yeah.
Jack Johnsons
But
either.
No
yeah.
Jack Johnsons.
I actually really do love his music. though.
Jack Johnson is from the Beach universe.
Yeah.
The
Hold on,
Yeah,
hold
he's
on.
a
Beach
surfer.
timeline.
Stay with me. Stay with me.
Okay,
there are
yeah,
no
yeah.
Sam Smiths. Nah.
Okay, so you knew about Karthik. That's where you were.
Yeah. So we just showed up at Sam's house. I don't remember if there even was any type of occasion, but it was a party. Frank and Carr showed up, started jamming. I remember there was another bassist playing with them at first.
Yeah.
It was Sam, Frank, and Carr.
Bassists are always flaky.
Well, dude, I saw him. And I was over there, and I was like, he's gonna have to get off here pretty soon. Time has come. So
It's funny, man. He was actually at work. He was like closing or something. I was like, bro, fuck it, man. Like, you got to get over here. Like, because I started jamming with, like, we had been jamming all day. Like, it wasn't just Frank and Karthik over there. My boy Sal was over there. I mean, we were all jamming, man. And fucking
A lot of
Frank
good
and
dudes.
Karthik came up and set up like a PA for mics and set up like his kid and everything. And it's like we took like our jam session and like merged with like their like traveling jam session.
Bro,
with us, man,
Frank
you know?
showed up with like the gift bag full of pedals.
Yeah.
Like, that's all right. This is going down.
I like this guy. Yeah.
It was great, bro. It was really cool too, man. Like, I don't know, those are surreal ass times now. It's there's a lot of a lot of the people that we still hang out with and love today were at that. And it's funny how like our friend, specifically Spencer Bellissimo, was at the first Thrifters concert, which was our old high school band.
Yeah.
And like, so we've like known some of these guys. They've seen us as long as we've been like doing shit.
Yeah, it's been
And it's really
a long story.
it's been really beautiful just to have people who've believed in you all the way, man.
just see the progression, if not, the changes
And,
over the
like,
course
I
of
don't
time
know,
and everything.
Like,
Sure, yeah.
we were talking about this
Yeah.
earlier, but I feel like we're just now getting to a point where like we have real people that are identifying as like a community around this stuff, and like taking a stance of I don't know, just like I've just had so many people come up to me. It's like weird how like there's so much like societal tension and being with people right now, especially given the pandemic and everything.
Yeah.
definitely.
We've been in scared mode and hide mode for like some time, and now we're coming back out of that. Everyone's rediscovering themselves in this beautiful way, and like it's funny that I feel like in the community around here, like there's a real space for something to be said, and people are like I don't know. I used to say that it was going to be a renaissance as soon as this happened, and people are really like seeming to be like, I don't know, in some of the conversations I'm
Coming
having,
out of their
like,
shells a little
yeah,
bit.
very natural,
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
enlightened thoughts coming out of like beautifully like amazing people, man.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I attribute a lot of like we had success coming out of the pandemic. I mean, we sold out a show like
Yeah.
immediately, which was like crazy for us. Like that,
People were
and
ready,
We didn't
man.
even promote it. It was like really crazy. And like when we talked to the people there, it was like, yeah, you guys are the only live band doing it, you know. And it's
That
like
was
people
part
are
of it.
so
That
they
was
just want to
definitely
come
part of it.
out and they just want to like be with each other again.
Yeah.
It's like so depressing to be inside all day.
Yeah, man, and you know, like something that I often think about is like I can't imagine the position that like some kids were in, kids who were graduating high school, like when COVID hit, and their
Or
next
how about in the 6th grade or like
yeah,
you're a
but like
kid
people
that.
who their next step was college,
Oh, yeah,
coming
big
back
time.
from that break
Oh
from
my
society,
God.
and I think that like the scene, I guess, the community that's developed, like in the Clifton area especially,
Yeah.
has been like really helpful, and like it's been a place for people who didn't necessarily know what was coming. To go to like
Yeah.
meet new people and to like have somewhere to be, have somewhere to make friends, and like it's really beautiful, man.
It is.
I'm really
From what-
thankful for
From
it.
what I can tell, like, after the pandemic started, there was so much. I don't know. You know, there's so much anger and hate and all these like terrible negative emotions going on.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
From all the stress, probably.
It was
Yeah,
a
and I
dark
feel
time
like
for me,
people,
man. Fuck.
people
I
have
mean, yeah.
more than ever today have like an intense craving for like camaraderie and displays of like love and affection and like fraternity and brother, you know what I mean, like all
Yeah.
those sorts of like community building things.
Yeah.
And
man.
that's why I like been wanting to get you guys on the podcast, and we're all playing shows together and doing
Yeah.
all these things so we can sort of like build this community and you know and like really do something cool.
Yeah, man, we met you guys post COVID.
Yeah.
Like,
Right,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
right after.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That story, I mean, that how you guys got together is has a lot of similar elements to what happened when we got together first, like the first
Yeah.
day. You know, somebody had the equipment, somebody had the things to throw everything together,
comes
and
together,
then
yeah.
and then you jam, and it's like, man, this is actually like, I wasn't expecting this.
yeah, bro, we jammed for like
kinda
4
good.
hours.
It was, like,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
Yeah.
No, it was.
It was
was-
influence
Yeah,
jamming,
yeah.
perhaps.
There was
However,
some influence around.
our first logo was a shroom for a reason, but you know.
That was
Wow.
funny, man.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah. But I remember one of the best things.
You're not on shrooms right now, are you?
I mean,
Debatable.
debatable. Yeah, I plead the fifth.
I don't remember.
Where am I?
I don't know, man. Looking at this
been a long,
ceiling.
strange trip,
fucking
man.
thing.
Yeah.
It's, you're really high when someone turns to you and they're like, you know what, man? Life's the trip, man.
Well, that's you.
Wow, I've said
that person is
before.
you.
I can speak. I'm speaking.
Have you ever
from a
been
point of
tripping
honesty.
and then you look at your friend and you actually are telepathically communicating?
Yeah.
And you're like talking to each other and you're like,
That's called the bubble theory.
and then you answer each other and it's like, what? Did you just answer my
That
thoughts?
just happened. Yeah.
Bro, I remember
But maybe you said it out loud, but you're not sure.
yeah, man,
You know?
we were. It's all right. We were.
But yeah, no.
Yeah, man. It's
He's trying to think of like a way to tell the stories without making him look bad. Like a
Hey, man, the
maniac.
musician lifestyle, it's real. I know y'all
Hey,
know.
bro.
Fucking,
Yep.
I was deadhead baby, man. I had no chance.
Really?
I didn't
Yeah,
like the
man.
Grateful Dead until I got high and watched Hell in a Bucket with
Yeah,
this
that
boy.
was funny, man. He was like, he
Video.
smoked weed for like not the first time.
One-
but he smokes
it was
weed
early.
and then watched the Grateful Dead, and he was like, I get it now.
Honestly, though,
happened
This
to me
whole
with Pink
culture
Floyd.
makes sense.
No, I shit you not. I was listening to Pink Floyd at his house, and I heard Time for the first time. Like, heard it, like, actually listened to it. And I don't know why I just never listened to Pink Floyd. I loved the Beatles. I loved
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix
Hell
growing
yeah.
up. But I just never, like, I wasn't, like, much of an explorer. I was always
Yeah.
busy. So I just heard whatever I heard, and I liked it. But I was listening to Time at his house, and I literally, like, went into a trance. I wasn't even drunk. I wasn't high or anything. I was just, like, just me. And I was, like, listening to this song, and it was just like, oh, my God. Like, if we could write a song like this one time in our lives.
dude, I had a
It'd be
friend.
so cool.
I had a friend named Cody, who, when he was first getting into weed, it was in college, and I remember being in Sedal, at UC, the dorm.
Yeah.
And he smoked or whatever. And then my friend Colin, I think, was like, well, you know what you should do? You should listen to Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I've never heard it before.
Oh.
He puts on noise canceling headphones
my God.
and lays down just
Yeah.
like a dead man, just like listening
That's
to
the way
it.
to do
And I
it.
was like, his life is being changed right now. Like,
Boys, we're witnessing history.
yeah.
Well, I mean, man,
That's true.
To comment on that, that's just like, I feel like everyone in this room has a deeper connection to music than just like some auditory pleasure, like what like is commercially viable or not.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, I don't know, man. Like
Most
there's-
people until 1930 didn't even have ready access to listen to music.
Yeah,
Like they had to
exactly.
go and watch a live band
yeah.
or know it themselves or know how to play themselves. It's like
Well, it's funny. I feel like it's almost like an energy that's being passed on to the audience now. That started with these bands because I feel like the thing, the same like goosebumps and chills that we got that like made us choose to do this in the first place. I get people who come to see us for the first time. They're like, bro,
yeah.
what the hell,
Yeah.
And then like especially it's wild, and it's not really that wild if you like think about it logically, but like we're all like kind of like classic rock oriented, and not like really like any of this like 2000s like post grunge, post metal, like post whatever.
There's
bands.
not much of that going
1989
on.
and before.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
about. 91, let's say.
Like
Use your version too.
we're really like we're all like so dynamic in our influence too, like from like anything. Like I mean, bro, I love like I throw on some Mozart, I throw on some Paganini or something, and I'm like sitting there like
Paganini. Oh my
fucking
God.
like I don't know, man, I'm banging.
Yeah.
Like I love.
That's
so,
my girlfriend. I like throw on a classical song and I'm like
Yes.
jamming
Bro.
and
Yeah.
like singing along to it.
Bro, it's so hilarious.
I love it.
You gotta hear this man listening to music is just funny to even watch. He can't help but have like these physical responses, just like like every time. I do it too now, just being around you, bro. Like,
Let that shit feel.
That's beautiful.
Let
But
the music
seriously,
feel
it's
you,
like-
baby.
Yeah.
but yeah, going off that, it really is. I feel like it's almost like a law of attraction thing. Like seeing you guys for the first time, for example, for us, I felt that. Like I felt your energy emanating like in a very similar way to like other bands in the area, similar way to what we try to do, and like just that shared vision, bro.
No,
like,
I feel that.
It's
And
really
when we play with you guys,
it's
like, wow,
recognizable.
we really haven't come across a band that was this much in our lane of like what we're trying to do. And it's like, and I can't believe we didn't meet you earlier, but I'm glad we fucking met
Hell
you.
yeah, man. Well, you know,
Absolutely.
Well, now we're meeting all sorts of.
Time
I mean,
comes
like
together.
Hello Luna. I mean, they're a great band. It's like they're a
Never
great
met
group, and
Electric Indigo.
yeah,
Electric
Yes,
Indigo.
bro,
Also,
they're
Electric
gas.
Indigo are
Yeah.
fucking amazing.
they're amazing. It was a
they're
great show.
Their live at the Urban Artifact is probably my best or my favorite like recording
yeah.
to come out of that space, bro.
That's
awesome.
It is like it's wild.
We
Everyone
oughta
check it
record
out.
there. That'd be
Yeah, we
Melodic
should do
Eye
that. You
does
guys
a
need
really-
venue.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
It
It
should
is.
be
They really did
coming-
something great with that.
Yeah, I know.
I think we
especially
should-
now.
We should be
It's
getting
really
that
good.
back sooner than later, right? The Radio Artifact session. Should be doing something coming out here.
You know what's funny is that guy, Devin, the dude that basically like organizes that whole event, is
yeah,
the
Devin
same.
is the man, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he is.
basically started me on my audio production journey.
I remember that day when you met him.
Yeah,
I remember
because
the day you met him.
We
so-
hung out at the church up the
Yeah.
street. Yeah.
Yeah, Jack's
Yeah.
dad helped us out a lot when we were getting started, and he helped us fund the Behringer, the X32 that we use for like
Yeah.
all
I mean,
of
he
our live
bought all
shows
our
and all this
PA
shit.
systems
And,
early on. He bought our amps.
yeah,
Action,
dude, it's
man.
baller. Like, it's a fantastic piece of equipment. But yeah, so we had a rehearsal one day before a show, and we like took all of our gear over to this church in Ludlow that had like a nice stage on the 3rd floor. And so we set up all the shit, and then Devin showed up and basically taught me how to use the X32 in like a rough way.
Nice.
And like, in a handful of hours. And so yeah, ever since then it's just been like messing around and figuring out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy to learn
do.
from, man. He knows what he's doing. He's actually curating another space in the Mockbee. Have you guys been there?
And the Mockbee has
No, but it's on our
history
list
with
this
us.
I have
year.
not
We're
ever set foot in it before, but it
Bro,
looks
it's
so
awesome.
it's cool.
It's
Yeah.
the same exact setup as the Cavern Club, like that the Beatles played in. Like it's two
Right.
like
Yes,
underground
I've seen
ass
the
tunnels
pictures.
next to each other. It's so dope.
It's
dude.
a pretty small room, right? Like it's less than
It's
1,000.
small and it's a
Oh,
tough
yeah.
space acoustically to work with. So I'm
It's all
excited to see
brick,
what he
right?
does with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, if
Well,
anyone's
you know,
gonna do
make
something
it
good
work.
with it,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I think Devin would.
I mean, bro, he
I'm-
transformed
I'm
Urban
ex-
Artifact. Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah, for real. He did a fantastic
Absolutely.
job with that space. Yeah, apparently they've like really redone it. I saw on the live at Urban Artifact videos you can tell the stage is much bigger. But apparently, like there's like a separate. There's doors now that disconnect the live room from the bar.
Yeah.
And all right. Yeah.
They
Might
make
be
it like
cool
a
It's
thing
really cool.
to
The
film
pictures look
album.
really great.
yeah. It's
Oh,
I mean, the
yeah,
whole thing
yeah.
is amazingly
Like
done.
have the crowd on the same level, almost. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not quite the same level, but it's like you're basically right there.
It's not
Yeah.
super elevated, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's
That's
like
very
a step.
good.
be a pretty
Yeah.
cool spot. I mean, because I didn't really think about it, but that place is great for recording. Just set up for it.
Oh, you
Yeah, let's
mean
put a pin in that
also
one.
set up the video and
Because we're thinking
Do the
about
whole
doing
thing.
because we're coming out with an album now, and it'll be done in like probably February or March, like
hell
coming
yeah.
out.
I think it's April. I think the last one will be like early
Yeah.
April.
And so when we release it all, we're gonna I completely forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, we're gonna film. We're gonna do a live show, and like do like a movie. Like
Yeah, man.
set up a multiple camera angles, film, record it, and like have it be like a special kind of. But
Yeah,
for,
almost like a
movies.
stand-up comedy special.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay,
like those,
okay,
like
hell
10-minute
yeah,
intro,
maybe
like
get some
5-minute
like
intros.
before and after
Yeah,
shots
yeah.
and like just
Yeah.
try and make it nice and personal.
Yeah,
I think it'd be really cool to do like a band movie because like Green Day did that. Like I
Yeah, man.
I loved what they did with their like Reading.
Hey,
concert.
speaking of band movies, and I know you mentioned the Beatles. Have you seen the Get
No,
Back
I haven't yet.
documentaries?
I wanna
Dude,
watch it.
yeah.
they
Yeah, they're
are
good, man.
very interesting.
You know-
Yes.
Like,
I can't
No.
wait to watch it. I'm literally
It's-
it's like
it's
on my
dope.
list.
No bars are held, so like I feel like obviously like Ringo and Paul would have had a huge foot curating like how that footage was released, but I feel like they did it in a very honest way, and like it
Yeah, it
doesn't
gives
seem
you
to
a
be
really
as like
interesting look.
Disney like tainted or manufactured by
Yeah.
by like they're not like I don't feel like they're fantasizing the Beatles in any way. In fact, like it really like humanizes them in this very beautiful way that shows that we're all on
It's
the right
rather
path.
exposing.
That's
man.
Like,
everything
that's
I've
cool.
wanted and more.
exactly.
Great,
Yeah,
you know, it'd be a
'cause
great
they're-
video is
like,
Paul
it's like-
McCartney reacting to that movie. I want
Dude,
to
I would
see what he
love to
says.
see
Yeah,
that.
that
bro.
would
You know
be
what I
super
mean?
I
cool,
would
yeah.
love to
Paul
see
and
that.
Ringo?
Or Ringo,
Yeah, both
Oh,
of them.
Ringo,
Get them
man.
together and watch them reminisce
I don't
on the
know, man.
days and like they might not have even seen some of the footage. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know if Paul would want to do that, man.
Yeah,
I feel like
probably
it was a stressful time for them. Like, watching it, they all seem very stressed
When he
out,
talks about
but-
it, it's like we were just doing a job and we were just trying to get the job done. And it's
Yeah.
like, man, it must have been so much pressure.
It was towards the
Oh
end.
my God.
Oh my
The
God!
world-
By
the
the
world.
70s, like by
Crazy.
1970, it
Well,
must have been
dude.
fucking madness. to be a
Well, dude,
Beatle.
like the
oh my
people
God.
in
Biggest
the
band on the
room
planet.
Yeah.
are not helping them at all. Like the dude, one of the like managers, I guess, is like over their shoulder the whole time. Like, no, it has to be the best. The entire world is
What's
gonna
his
see
name?
this.
Martin?
It has to be. It wasn't George Martin,
George
bro.
Martin.
George,
No, George
Martin was
Martin
actually
stepped away.
really.
Very-
Right.
He was really reserved. Like he
Yeah.
didn't say almost anything.
Good chill guy. But I watched an interview with George Martin. He's actually really like interesting, funny, like talker. Like he's like can tell stories and shit. And he's hilarious.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think he
know he's
died
a smart
not
guy.
too long ago, right? Or is he
George
still
Martin?
alive? Is he still alive?
No, he died.
Yeah, he died.
I'm almost certain, and I don't think it was that recent. I think it
It
was
was
like
well, when I say recent, I mean
early
10
2000s or
years.
something.
When you say fucking 2010 was 12 years ago to me, I'm like,
Yeah, right.
George,
That is wild.
George died in 2001, man. You know, he
Oh, it's 2016.
there you
Oh,
go.
yeah, there you
Not
go.
that long, yeah.
Told you so.
There's these hilarious pictures of George Martin and like all these other executives and whoever the fuck was hanging out in the control room at the time. And they're all smoking cigarettes, and it just makes me want to fucking pull my hair out that they just have like 500 grand worth of music equipment in the room, and they're just like ashing their cigarettes onto this beautiful soundboard. I'm like,
Bro, they could get another one the next day, dude.
I know.
Ashes and the smell of cigarettes was just everywhere. It was just
Yeah.
over everything all the time, everywhere.
For a very long
yeah.
time.
It was actually a huge sanitary problem. Like people were specifically paid to like keep the ashes, like clean up ashes and.
Hey man,
and
well,
try to get
the
smoke smell
Industrial
out.
Revolution wasn't too much earlier, was it? Like,
No.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
65, 70
really
years.
didn't
I
hit
mean, it was-
America
it
until
was a
1870,
lot
80,
earlier.
and like that's when we started feeling in our society, 1870, 80, and then you look at 100 years after that is 1970.
Yeah.
So in only 100 years, 50 years before
mean,
that, what do you think,
sanitary like protocols are relatively new to the modern age.
Yes.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and there was a lot of shit that happened from like post World War II. You know, like refrigeration really became a big thing, and
Yeah.
freezing became a big thing, and microwaves and like yeah, like
Plastic.
right,
Plastic.
like other giant sort of innovations that weren't
Super glue.
directly tied to the Industrial Revolution.
yeah.
Plastics was huge. Small machinery, the invention of the transistor was huge. You know, radio and TV and all modern technology that you see now has a transistor in
We
it.
really haven't been destroying the planet for that long.
No.
Yeah,
Yet we've done
actually-
so much.
It's already so
actually-
It's been
Wow.
short but sweet.
Yeah.
It
so
depends
to
on what
speak.
you mean by that, because you know, everyone started in Africa and at some point moved out all over the world, and then we have always influenced. We've always been killing species ever since then.
I mean,
We've been putting them into
the mid to latter
extinction.
1800s, you know.
Yeah, well, that's more a chemical destruction.
I was about
Yes.
to say, speaking
Chemical
chemically, our chemical imprint has become way more significant.
But we were burning
Like-
wood before, which is way worse than burning coal. For the
carbon
atmosphere.
emissions and shit.
I mean, you know, like if we had the population now and we didn't have coal to run our power, I mean, we would be burning wood to keep our houses warm, which would just cause, I mean, way more pollution. It would just be black in the sky everywhere. And, you know, so I mean, like, it's all in your perspective. It's like, well, there were either going to be hundreds of millions of people starving to death, or we industrialize and feed them. And it's like, we figure out a way to make it work. And it's like, and then it was really the big problem was like, even in like 1880, we had solar panels and solar batteries and things that could
Really?
power. Yeah, I mean, this guy.
I knew it was that
This
early.
guy in the World Fair, sometime around the late 1800s, came. It was like 1898 or something, and he made a fully solar powered automatic farm for the desert. And he demonstrated it out in the desert, and he farmed a plot of land in the middle of a barren desert using nothing but solar power and, you know, basically dehumidifying the air and creating an irrigation system. It was 1800s. And it's like, and he got bought out by probably some coal company or some oil
Damn.
Well-
company because they didn't want the competition. And you know,
Oh my!
they
well,
won
that's
out.
rough, bro.
You know what I mean?
Curl up the idea, throw it in the drawer, save it for a couple hundred years.
They probably deliberately
Save it for
suppressed
when
it.
it's profitable for us.
And there's still that stuff going on today with these
Yeah.
big industries are controlling. They have a controlling share of society where, you know, they can basically buy out anyone that comes up with a great idea. I got this idea to come up with a company who only makes things that last forever. Clothes, like light bulbs, just simple things that are intentionally designed to fail over a certain period of time
Yeah,
to make the
exactly.
company's
There's so
money.
much. That's
And just take all the business, sell it for way less than all the companies, put them all out of business, and then, yes, you won't make money because eventually everyone will have one, but that's not the point. It's not about making money. It's about improving, like, and just force everybody to improve their life standards by giving them long-lasting, perfectly functioning
Yeah.
equipment to
people
work
don't
with.
understand how much that with industrialism, like programmed obsolescence, like it's so like
That's a huge, huge, huge part of everything.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
economy,
Like that's
everything.
how our society like recycles itself is
Yeah.
because
Cars, dude. Cars are like that.
you know
Cars are like
Certain companies will literally develop like
As soon as
pieces to a
Ford
car
sold
that
his
are
company, as soon as
they
Ford
can
turned
predict
over
when it'll fail.
Yeah, as soon as Ford turned his company over to other people, they immediately started making cars specifically so that people would have to go buy another car the next year, or they would feel compelled to
Jesus.
go buy another car the next year.
Dude, I was just at a wedding last night, and there was an old Model T in the backyard from 1923.
that's cool.
It was
Good
totally
shit.
bitching.
It was
That's wild.
super,
So
super
cool.
sick.
Yeah.
And when you grab the frame, it is like the fucking hardest steel
say,
I've
it's
ever
super
felt.
thick,
Yeah,
like-
yeah. It was really,
Oh,
really,
really?
interesting. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Like
I never touched
because
it.
the door was
Wow.
open, and so I grabbed the frame at one point. It's just like fuck. It's so sturdy. Like there's no give. To
Henry
it
Ford
whatsoever.
said, "We want
Huh.
anyone who buys our car to never have to buy a car again." That's what he said. And then
Well.
the people who took over for him.
Oh,
didn't
how the
agree.
times have
Curious,
changed.
he also invented the what's it called? Just like the factory
assembly line?
Yes,
Assembly
the
line.
assembly
The assembly
line.
line. Yeah.
Yes, he streamlined it. It had been tried before, but it hadn't been mechanized and industrialized like to the
Sure,
point of
yeah.
efficiency that he did.
Well, you know the reason that we stopped hand winding pickups is because it was actually too like efficient. Like hand wound pickups literally like last so like there's so much program obsolescence in even how music instruments are made today, and it's so much more prevalent like with the problem with like
That's why I buy all
Epiphones are
custom
not
parts.
in the pickups,
Yeah.
man. It's in like the wood.
Yeah,
Like they're just the wood quality isn't as good.
definitely.
And that's it. Like, you know, you buy the only thing, you know, obviously like you buy an acoustic guitar that's made of plywood, it's not going to sound as good as like
basswood.
Yeah,
or
I think
exactly.
it's a
Oh,
lot more
really
obvious
thick.
with the acoustics.
Yeah,
than it
but
is
as
the
far as
electric.
these electrics
That's
go,
part of the reason why
like, the only
Steinways
thing
are so
that's wrong
expensive.
with that,
They
like
have
buying
such
an Epiphone
select
Les
wood.
Paul versus a modern Gibson, is that they literally like there's no reason they couldn't put the pickups don't cost anymore to make
Yes.
nice pickups,
Yeah.
bro. Like, it's just literally they just put
And you can just go
Vaguer
pick the ones
pickups.
you want anyway.
Luckily,
Exactly.
yeah. Luckily, there are people who still custom
Yeah.
hand wind pickups that you can order from.
yeah.
A little bit more expensive, but a million times more.
Yeah.
We
worth
should
it.
do that.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
It's-
there's this
be
one guy
interesting.
who's in Europe who does. He's like one of the main manufacturers of them in the world. I think he's out of England or something. But you can order from him, and he's pretty timely. Like you could do it quickly. Like he works quick.
It's also
Well,
crazy just how like a lot of like talking about earlier how we really do like kind of have such a huge appreciation for like rock and all the ages of it. It's like are those guitar heroes like in looking at the Beatles, people don't understand that how much of a rock band they were.
Oh yeah,
Like,
right.
they
They were
like,
killers.
Like people don't understand just how like or the Rolling Stones, bro.
Oh.
Be it as like they were going for more of like a country western, but like you see someone like Jimmy Page ripping on a Les Paul, like the
nothing like it.
electric guitar was such a new invention even by that time.
They were inventors. They
Yeah,
were
and
innovators.
it
Like,
changed
they were
so
engineers.
quickly
Yeah, bro. They
within
were
like a
literally
20-year
like-
period.
He talks about how he got distortion for the first time.
Yeah.
Like there was no distortion, and he had a
Yeah.
friend that was like, "Yeah, if you kind of jiggle this, circuit here a little bit, then you can get it to kind of crunch." And then that's how he created his sound, was like messing with the actual amp and opening it up inside. Like they had to actually fucking work with
It was
their
all
hands and shit.
tube powered back then.
Yeah, it was all just straight tubes. They had
The
nothing
original
else.
crunch
Oh,
was
man.
just they just realized if you turn it to 11,
Yeah.
and you put it in a different room.
Yeah.
I will say
It's
it's
crushed.
it's
shit.
scary how good modeling amplifiers are anymore, man. Like,
Oh
no
my
cap.
Yeah.
But like the Mustang amp that I had when I was a kid, and then like the Mustang amp that exists now are like completely different beasts, bro. Like, and then you get into like Kemper like staging and everything. It's just fucking. It's amazing. Like literally, there's. And we have this whole MIDI 2.0 thing coming about.
I was just about to say that.
So-
man.
2.0,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah, there's a new MIDI that's coming out, and instead of like 127 processing data points or whatever, it has like 2 billion.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to approximate like analog sound way more accurately than MIDI
Sounds
today.
good to me.
That's really
Sounds good to me
curious. Wow,
too,
holy
bro.
shit.
Like-
I do a
This
fair
is
amount of
the thing about
programming
technology.
on
Alright.
stuff, so that's really interesting.
This is
to
the
know.
thing about
Okay.
technology:
Yeah.
is a small group of people innovate and they break through, and then and then it becomes something different. Like think about if we're around
yeah,
3,000
music
years.
advances alongside technology.
Imagine 3,000 years in the future what music is going to look like. Sure, it might not look like all what it looks
Oh,
like today,
yeah.
but it'll be accessible to everybody,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
anyone could make it and express themselves, which is a good thing ultimately. So it's like there's a give and take. Like we're in this period of history that's like an in between
yeah.
period, because we didn't have the internet, and now we live in a world that has the internet, and not just the internet, but just technology, the amount of advancements in computers and just AI and it's just insane the growth that's happened. And so we're just seeing this like weird melding of old and new, and like that like can explain almost like every strange thing that we see.
Yeah.
I've always been very
nowadays. It's like
I've always been very fascinated by the idea of like and being a musician around so many talented musicians already at such a young age, man. Like, could you imagine just how just the
I
musicians
feel like I've
of
already lived a
history-
lifetime. You know?
Like the musicians
Like
of
of
history,
experience.
like the unknowns, there was,
Right.
could you imagine I bet you there's like people out there hanging out on their couch playing guitar better than some,
Yeah.
or like even like, bro, even like lute players, like how those but even before we could record, this stuff, I love, like you couldn't imagine like how real that music would have been.
All
to
of
those
music was
cultures of
invented
people.
before recordings were.
Yeah, exactly. You
You
know,
know?
so like you couldn't.
Wild.
People don't understand. We're so like predisposed to recording, especially our generation.
Yeah,
Right.
Just
that
people don't
we,
think
we
about
don't
most
understand
things.
how much like actual of like a visceral experience like a live performance can have.
Well, dude,
And
I mean, I think that's something people are realizing now.
Yeah.
Again, after COVID, not having seen live music for a while, like I
Yeah.
think that's part of the reason that a lot of this, like, I don't know, pop off stuff has
Here's the
been
thing,
happening.
just
Like
think
It's
about-
crazy buzz.
people
especially
want to
around
see live
Clifton,
music so much now.
In order
like-
to explain that, you have to go to what was going on before COVID. And like, what were people doing before COVID that made them less willing to come out and go see a band locally or whatever? And it wasn't that they didn't want to do it. People want to do it. They always have. But people are stuck in a situation. A lot of people are stuck in a situation where they can't leave their job. They can't. I mean, you know, they can't.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It was a period of upheaval that allowed for change. That
Exactly.
Yeah.
People
allowed
gave
that
up. Everyone lost their jobs. Everyone kind of like had to start over, and like it was just it was
Yeah.
like a blank slate, you know. We just come out of it, and people are rebuilding. And it like a traumatic event makes you change, whether whether it's good or bad or whatever, or what direction it is, it's gonna make you change. And like, I think that's ultimately a good thing for society. Like if you look at the pandemics that we had in the past, almost all of them were followed by tremendous advances in technology and living standards and safety procedures and all these things. You know, it's like we have to go through the thing and come out to appreciate what we had. You
Yeah,
know?
absolutely.
Right.
I've been really
Like, how bad did you want it to be 6 months ago, 6 months into COVID? Like, I would go to bed sometimes and like just hope that tomorrow I'd wake up and it was a year earlier, or just like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Sure.
It's like it got so
Yeah.
desperate. It's just like, and we just stayed in it for like 2 years.
It's simply, I mean, you don't really appreciate your health until you get sick.
yeah.
When
Right.
you're bedridden, you realize how much it sucks to be sick.
And
So
how
when You're
vulnerable
not sick
you
anymore.
are.
It's really great. It's
Yeah,
you know,
man.
same thing is happening just with everyone.
Well, you know, being
long
stuck
period of time.
inside in general, like, gives everyone this, like, really, like, too much time to observe themselves and honestly, like, get to understand and become aware of, like, how their mind's working in this beautiful but scary way. And I've really been struggling with just, like, understanding how much, like, overanalyzing I've gotten out of COVID, man.
Oh, yeah.
Like, just, like, being too, almost, like,
That's what I
know,
said.
being
I
too
said a
meta,
month
like,
in. I was like,
approach-
nothing's ever going to be the same. People are going to be crazy about washing their hands. People are just going to be. You can't get rid of.
Well, masks.
Somebody
Dude,
might
masks
have
are not
COVID.
going away.
No.
In a certain capacity.
Well,
at
you know what?
least.
That's a good thing. I like
That's
that.
a new-
way, doesn't it?
Like,
Yeah.
I like that. Like, I was a server
Yeah, it's
at
not
a
a bad
restaurant.
thing
If I have a
necessarily.
cough or something, or if I just have like a little illness, but it's not contagious unless I'm coughing or whatever, I'd rather be able to go to work and wear a mask and it be acceptable.
Yeah, well,
than
dude, that's
before,
the
if
thing.
Imagine if you went to work and you wore a mask before COVID. You would look like insane. or
Yeah,
something.
before it wasn't. That's wild to think about,
Exactly.
bro. Before it wasn't socially acceptable to wear a mask, people would be like,
Yeah.
"What's wrong with you?"
It's crazy.
Right,
Like,
right.
That's
It's
wild.
like, what are
That's
you,
something
Chinese?
yeah, dude. Some fucking
Just kidding. I love
I
Chinese
know, everybody's
people.
like, oh, wait, disease exists.
Nothing against Chinese people.
disclaimer.
I'm saying
Wow, did
society
anyone
is
else hear
racist,
the
not
sound
me.
of a 3-second cut just go
Society.
by?
These are facts.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it was like a thing that only like certain Asian countries did, or like people kind of knew that it was like, why would they,
Right.
like, why are people doing that? And then like it was like this weird thing in our society, and then as soon as COVID hit, it's like everybody just immediately went, oh yeah, of course, why would we not wear masks all the
Yeah.
time if we're sick? I mean, it's just like crazy how, I mean, imagine trying to explain that to everybody in America without a pandemic.
Yeah.
They would never have learned those lessons.
luck,
you know
yeah.
what I
You might
mean?
be
A
onto
lot of
something
people wouldn't
here,
listen.
No,
man.
I'm serious. But no, I'm saying like adversity always results in progress. It always
Absolutely.
results in people
Yep.
pushing
Yeah.
through. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's a good thing we got COVID,
Including
but bad
in
things
music.
are gonna happen no
Right.
matter what we do.
Triumph
It's
is
gonna
a
be an
result of
asteroid
struggle.
impact. It's gonna be fucking
You're
climate-
literally describing the origin story of every great musician of all
Yeah.
time. Like every
Yeah.
great
Or
musician
great person
faced,
in general.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
exactly.
face some amount of like epic proportional adversity,
Yeah.
and then they found their way out on top, and that now they are the way they are.
Yeah.
As
Well, yeah,
t-
dude.
to some extent because of the fact that they went through such a grand.
Yeah.
I think if
level
Elon
of
Musk
forces
hadn't been beaten
adversity.
up every day for being a nerd or whatever, he would have shut himself in and read all his books and started some company. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe he would have, but maybe not.
Yeah, it either forces you to take some resolve and to push even harder, or to give in. And thankfully, you know, choosing not to give in is a lot of what
Family's a real
results
key
in that
thing.
stuff.
I've
Yeah.
been,
Bro, honestly,
Family's a real
like,
key thing.
even our album from 2020, like, dude, I don't know. We went through a lot of shit
Yeah,
that
man.
summer, bro. Like, I don't know what was going on with Tasteful in 2020, but like my personally, bro, like my family life fell apart. Like, I know, Sam, you were dealing with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And this was all over the process of recording that album. And I feel like a lot of that was put into that
Absolutely.
album. And, like, it's just more special
Well, I'm
because of
telling
that.
them, you know, like I go through periods of a lot of songwriting, and then I go through like stumps. And the when I come back in is always when I'm like at my max stress capacity, which is weird.
It's an outlet.
And it's
Yeah.
unfortunate, and it's not that I can't write without it, but it's like I do my best writing and my most prolific writing when I'm like under the fucking gauntlet, or like running the gauntlet and having to juggle a million things at once, yet still writing a song. Why would I choose to write a song in the middle of all this? I don't know.
Well, dude, I
But
feel
just
like
have to.
the best songs come out in the in-between moments. Like,
Yeah.
when you're almost, for me, it's like some of the best songs come out when I'm like just dashing something off, or like writing something, like catching a feeling that's between feelings almost, like when
Yeah.
I'm really recognizing it. And like,
Yeah.
I know exactly what you
Yeah.
mean. It's almost like if you are fully in, like zoned in to everything you're feeling, you almost have too much to focus on to be
yeah,
able
you're
to
like
be creative.
over-analyzing it, over-processing
But
it.
it's like in the after effects, or maybe leading up to something big that you feel, and you're not even aware, and it catches you off guard,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to capture it, and it's like, that's like where it is. That's where it's like magic. I mean, what was it? The guy who wrote Piano Man, Billy
Billy
Joel.
Joel.
Billy Joel,
I
yep.
think it was him that said, if I hadn't wrote that, then somebody else would have written
Elton
it.
John. This
El-
is talking
then
about.
Elton, oh yeah, Elton John.
Makes
If he hadn't
sense.
written
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
I would have written that 5 months later.
I think it was
Because-
in reference to Rocket Man.
And I love that
Yeah.
idea. I love that idea of like songs are all out there. Like all songs that are possible exist in the air, literally.
Because it's
in the
life
air.
experience, dude.
Yeah.
Well, also sound is like air vibrations. So
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
literally there's like a universe of sound around us. And
Energy, man.
it's up to each person to actually grab, like literally reach into the ether and grab it out of nothing. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, like the sound, like the song gods have granted you
man.
the ability.
I just, you know,
That's how
Pull it
they
out.
look
smoke a
at it.
joint, listen to Ohm by Chuck.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, so going off that, like, what's your guys' creative process anyway? Like even as a band, like as
all over the place.
songwriters, like how do you guys
It's-
interface?
It is
that way?
very variable. We for years we did this process where we basically showed up with a riff and just started to like, you know, BB shows up with a riff, Jack shows up with a riff, and then
Or some
we-
lyrics or
Yeah,
or
and we
pieces.
started-
Okay, so you
build
bring
the drum
pieces and you
parts.
put it together.
Yes.
You know, then I
Gotcha.
start
But
jamming.
then some song, you know, some songs are like, oh, I wrote this and it's kind of like this, and then we come in and kind of change it around, or like at the beginning it was like a lot. It was like me and Sawyer, because we were the only ones that had written songs in the past, so we were using past songs that we
Yeah.
had written, and then but through that process of jamming, we would just jam, and then it would be like, that's pretty. And like BB started playing Crazy. I don't know if you ever listened to Crazy. It's off our early. It's off our first.
It's a high school days
believe
song.
so.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
like
it's
one of the. I think it was the first song we wrote together,
Yeah, it was.
and it was just him playing.
It was the day when I was taking guitar lessons. My guitar teacher taught me 7 chords that day.
Yeah, and he literally he was playing,
Nice.
just practicing
That's
7
funny.
chords. And I was like, dude, that is funky as
That's
fuck.
such a good point, man.
And I had these words that I wrote for like some metal kind of thing that I like imagined.
Yeah.
And I was like, these words fit.
What's
And then we just fucking put it together. So it's like been kind of lately. It has been more like we'll just come in and go.
Collaborative.
collaborative?
Let's sit down.
Yeah.
Like BB has a riff. Maybe I came up with like an intro or something, and we'll just like hash it out. Just pick one, and just start playing it. Start writing it out. Like we're trying to move towards actually writing in the studio, which we did for Blue Bus.
Yeah.
We kind of built the song like while we were recording it, and so that's like I want to get good at that because
Yeah, that's
really
that's
fun.
Really fun.
That process is a whole new beast, and it's
Yeah.
really enjoyable.
Absolutely.
It's
I
really fun.
think it's
Yeah.
That's funny, man.
I want to do it today.
it's
Go ahead.
really interesting just because like I used to write songs and like ideas out of practice. You know, that's like that's the best practice, man, is to make your own practice.
That's right.
Like if you're like, I need to learn the scale, you should make a lick in that scale.
Yeah.
Or you should like hammer that down. And it's really
Turn
funny
it into
because like
something.
our first song came about by me playing this. Like I was really into metal, and I was getting into like 8 strings and 7 string guitars because they have that ability to like hit those ringing bass notes out like above the E. Yeah. Well, like, but then like in a more like not so much of like a conscious way, but like more of like a open like
a
clean,
drone
like,
note.
yeah, like droning.
yeah.
And I had this idea, and he literally. We had linked up, and this was like the first time we were gonna hang out.
Yeah, this was
for
back
real.
in high school.
Yeah. And he has like, I'm like, you know, I have songs, he has songs, and I didn't know this yet. And he pulls out like a full sheet of lyrics, and I like just like come up with a chorus with him real quick. And our first song happened in like 5 minutes, bro. Of like hanging out, man. It was like that fast. It's really, it's like magnetic, man. It's really crazy. It was like. We both had been dying to get this out.
I think it would be better to illustrate.
That's super cool. Honestly, I think that's pretty close to sort of the way we've been doing songs since we shifted from high school and became Trauma, Illinois.
Yeah.
It's sort of been this
Start
thing
focusing
where
on
like,
business and like time management. Like,
it's been this process where like someone brings in a mostly complete song, and the rest of the guys in the band are basically like the producers in the room, and we go, you know, we're jamming, we're playing it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I think, you know, this fill would be sick here, and all of you drop out, and then all of a sudden there's a new section of the song that you know, because I or Jack or BB or whoever didn't bring in the song like was playing and like suddenly had an idea.
Yeah, I think you guys we're moving in like a similar direction as you guys almost in like our writing process. We've always been very like, instead of putting the puzzle pieces together, it's sort of, and this almost arose out of you and me, like the way we used to write, because we used to always write like an entire song by ourselves, like from start to finish.
That's how I started doing
Bring it, and then we would just play it.
Yeah.
And like me and Sam would used to always be on this wavelength. I guess it's subsided a little bit where like I would be writing a lot and then wouldn't have anything, but then he would be writing a lot when I didn't have anything. Anyway.
That's really how it was at the very beginning for us.
Yeah,
It's
but
like, me and
parallel
Sawyer,
at some point,
who wrote, and we would come in and write, and I would like try to imagine writing for a band, and then I quickly realized that that was not good. I wasn't doing as good as I could have if you know. So we just like basically, me and Sawyer, I think, kind of put pressure on you guys a little bit to like, hey, you come up with something there.
Show up.
Yeah, or no, it'd just be like, we don't know what's gonna happen here. BB, come up with something. Or like Gary, maybe do a fill there.
But that's
and like
Yeah,
you
and
guys
that's what
weren't
we're trying to
necessarily
move
on
into.
that wavelength at first, like because we were like 15 or 16, and you guys were just like, you had just started playing drums like 2 years before, and then you had never played live with anybody, like out, you know.
He was a bedroom warrior.
Exactly. He was insanely good, and I
I've
meet
never
him,
heard
and
that.
I'm like, how the fuck are you in your room, you know? And so, you know, it was like a coming out of the shell kind of thing, because I'd already been in a band, and it was like I'd already been through all this shit, and I kind of wasn't thinking about it, but I realized like, oh, you guys need to get like pushed into, because you can do it. Like, you guys are skilled. You guys have the producer
yeah,
mind.
we saw that. I mean,
And then like, you know,
Totally.
17, 18, right towards the end of high school, that's when it all came together. We started writing together. We started coming up with more songs. And it was like,
It's a learning process.
I mean,
man.
that's how I saw it. That's
Because
how
I don't know if y'all knew, we were a 5-piece in high school. And
I
then
did not know that.
Sort of one by one, members dropped for various reasons, and then it was right around the time we became a 3-piece. It suddenly became like, you know,
we're
when there's-
locked into each other.
When there's less of you, it's your opinions and your like musical contribution are far more important.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, they have a little bit more
Absolutely.
dominance.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
and you feel like you can really, every single person can really manipulate the song, really like put their own flair on it without it interfering negatively with anyone else. Whereas like with 5 pieces, it's just a slightly more. It just depends on what kind of musician you are and how you start.
Yeah, man.
But for us, and especially the specific musicians that we were working with, it was just difficult for us to collaborate like that. And like really coordinate well to where none of it was interfering with each other, and you know, it was
Dude,
just very hard.
being in a band has taught me like so much like maturity
About
almost in collaborating with others. Like literally I've
been saying this for years.
Dude, I seriously think that like I would not be even as effective like in professional or school life without
Absolutely
the
not.
lessons of like working with someone else that I've learned from the band. Because
absolutely.
bro, it really is learning how to give and take, how to be like when to give in almost.
You're
Sometimes
all a manager.
Like when you're wrong,
You're a manager.
like yeah.
You become a manager,
Yeah.
and you have to take on the responsibilities that everyone else is taking on.
And the bands that learn that stuff are the bands that find success, I think. Like if
And the
you
musicians alone are the ones who get jobs.
stick around.
Yeah,
If
man.
you're not in a band. You know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, exactly. I mean, like when I like, and this is something like people at my school that I work with notice, and they're like, how did you like? I can mediate conversations even if there's like a big disagreement or whatever. I can always get people
Yeah.
working together, and it's like I completely attribute it to having to work in a band setting, and it's like you have to look. Because if you're not doing something where you are being creative together with other people, then you're not fully testing the ranges of everybody's minds and how they're interacting with each other, and you're not really learning how people really interact when they're engaged.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be in a professional setting, or if you're going to get a real job or a career somewhere, I mean, that's what they look for, is the ability to like sit down and work through things, no matter how difficult it is, no matter how much you might be different than the person. You know, it's like you can find that common ground and you can like actually profit on it.
Yeah, man, that's why I don't get people who like think that like bands or like any type of band activity is like somehow I don't know, purely recreational, or like there's no like benefit to it of like real life stuff or like career wise or anything. Like
It's one of those
Once
things.
again,
It's like,
just
oh, you're going to be a
rules.
musician, huh? Okay.
yeah, like it's almost frowned upon, but like
Right.
no, dude, there's so many translatable
Like, yeah, I'm going to bring
skills
joy to
that I
hundreds
never would
of
have had.
people. Thousands
Yeah,
of
the
people over
skills
time, my
of
lifetime.
being a band, excluding like musical proficiency,
Yeah.
is invaluable. There's
Yep.
just so many. Yeah, there's so many skills you learn from working together with people and
And the business side.
and having to,
yeah, exactly.
to
That's what I'm
apply a
saying, yeah.
skill, like a real skill,
Right.
that and having to continue to learn. And when you're in a band, it's not the same as when you're like going and taking guitar lessons. Even though guitar lessons are invaluable and they're really useful, they're not teaching you how to learn on the fly and just pick up something.
Yeah.
And, you know, go
Amen.
with it. And like
Being-
I met so many musicians who've never
Played like
improvised,
that, yeah.
improvised, or even tried to
Oh.
write a song, and they're like incredible. Like this Stefan was this kid I went to high school with. He graduated when he was 15. He was like 4 years ahead. He was like crazy smart, and he was like a savant on the piano. Like he could sit down and play any song that you put in front of Bach. I mean, like any song, and he could do it immediately without like he could read it through real quick and then play it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Genius.
and it's absolute genius. That's what I told him. And he comes up to me one day and says, "How do you write songs?" I'm like, "What? What do you mean?" I couldn't
Dude.
fathom, but I didn't understand it from his point of view. It was a thing that his parents made him do, and then he got into it and he got really good at it, and so he just continued to do this thing and never was pushed by other people. There was never any pressure. And he was young too, obviously. He was like a lot younger than I was. And so I was like, all right. And so we did this project together, wrote a song, and I had him sit down and I just like play 3 notes, you know? Just like play 3 notes. You start there. And like anybody can write a song if you love music.
Yeah.
I really believe that. If you love music, you can learn how to come up with some series of
It
notes.
happens
And he
subconsciously for a
plays
lot of
this
people,
thing.
too.
He plays this thing that is the most beautiful piano I've ever heard. It was like incredible. I was like, oh, I cried live with him. I was like, oh my god, dude, like that was amazing. Like, you know, that's in you. That's always been in you, dude. It's awesome. How are we? Are we like running over?
We're
way
fine.
over?
No, we're
Oh,
fine.
yeah.
We're good.
No, I
do
think
2
something
hours.
that's really interesting about this idea of like being pushed or not, as far as being musical or in general. Like I've been really
Push
like,
outside your comfort zone.
well, in a lot of ways, I've been talking to, like I grew up in a situation where it was really weird, where my father had raised me to play, like he was a guitarist and got me started at the guitar really early. And he was like, at the same time, like my biggest like advocate, and then like just like very condescending upon success.
Biggest critic.
Yeah, very, absolutely. And
That's
it,
rough.
yeah, it was. It really like rough emotionally too, because like I didn't know how to feel. Like the thing about me and singing is he told me straight up when I started trying to sing that like you shouldn't sing, man. Like,
My
you
dad
shouldn't-
told me the
He
same
was like,
thing,
"You ain't
Which
got
is
no
wild.
voice
and it
for singing."
fucking
Consider
destroyed
it.
me.
It did.
Like,
well, I like
I'm
go
no,
to the mic
yeah,
and I
I
like
didn't know
still
that.
like feel really anxious about
Yeah.
it today because of it. And
Yeah.
but like singing is so valuable to me because it's really like an emblem of me like persevering through like no bro, you don't see it, like there's something to this. And I think it's really funny that I was talking to him about this
Do
earlier.
you think that learning how to sing influenced the way you play?
I don't
At all?
know. I think the way I was playing is reflective. I don't know. I feel like
Of how you wanted to sing?
yeah.
That makes. Oh, I was gonna say, guitar's like an extension.
Yeah,
the
like,
guitar's.
I've always had the notes in my head.
Yes.
And like I've always been trying to hum them.
Yes.
But it was just like I got the confidence to actually open my mouth one day.
Like
Yeah,
you-
right,
I always
right,
think of
right.
it like your
Turns
voice.
out your voice is pretty fucking badass.
Yeah, man. It's a good thing.
Yeah,
Fucking-
honestly, yeah. Good thing
Damn
you
good
did.
singer, Sam.
Well, I think
Yeah,
it's
dude.
really interesting because like I felt like when he was doing that, I was really pushed, like I guess out of like a subconscious point of spite almost, where it was just like, like I have to prove myself.
Yeah.
But like now I have so many supporters, and it's funny that I have like the most internal anxiety now that I have nothing to prove.
Dude, I
Right.
I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It's so
I feel like it was
yeah,
such
yeah.
a it was such
It's
a
like, I
process
was so,
of
like, sure in
confidence building
myself.
though.
Yeah.
Like even between you and me, like in all the years where we would just fucking like play by
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Like I was super unconfident in singing too, but like even just going back and forth like
Yeah.
that, really, I
just-
feel like it built
I'll just
that.
tell you, like, because I have like a weird kind of life. I've had a very weird, strange life where I've had like a tremendously diverse amount of extreme experiences in different fields.
Yeah.
Like I was a swimmer, and I like toured the nation and did.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like a huge like that was
Yeah.
I broke records, and it was like
Yeah.
a big part of my life. And then suddenly I'm in this band, and then like and even in between that, like school, I saw school as like this big thing where I was like overcoming diversity, and that was a big theme when I reached the point. Like when I got an award at school, I like had a panic attack.
Yeah.
Like they were like, and fourth highest GPA, Jack Johnson, and I literally left. I was like, fuck this. I couldn't handle getting rewarded for the work that I had thought
Yeah.
was so
Yeah.
important that I do.
Yeah.
And it's like embracing that part of you that is anxious about succeeding or is
Yeah.
anxious about doing the best that you can
Yeah.
is part of that, because it's not going to go away, but how you take it for
Yeah.
yourself can change. You know what I mean?
I've really like, everyone has this like intense nostalgia for childhood. Like even like I grew up in a very like just melodramatic and like kind of traumatic space and as a child. And I still persevered to be very happy through that. But like, I struggle sometimes by myself. But
Well, those things come back to bite you
Yeah,
every now
exactly.
and then in the dark, right?
Yeah,
It's like You're in the
absolutely.
dark, and then your mind comes in, and then you realize where it all came from. And oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I get that. I totally understand.
I just feel like it's really interesting that I feel like the one thing I look back that I had because I had so much pressure put against me that like innately was there that like I really like think I've been missing out on not giving myself in these past couple of years is like because there was so much like societal push against me, at least in my eyes as a kid.
Of course, yeah.
Like,
and when you're a kid, you're sensitive, so you
listen,
take
yeah,
a lot
exactly.
of things, and you don't realize that it's not.
I felt like I innately had like just a very like strong belief in myself and who I was and that I was doing good and like on the right. I
That's
feel like
key.
I've really lost.
That's key.
And like I've been trying to like be more conscious to like just really understand that I do believe in myself and that only like by
Dude.
accepting like a subconscious belief in what's going on here can I even consciously make anything real happen.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. I mean,
And-
that's so real in your 20s. Like,
You have to support your you can't like
It's true.
you can't
It's-
support an
Amen.
idea of like you're almost like your subconscious doesn't support what you're actually believing and doing. It's like you can say like I want to do this, but if you don't like actually have like the support of yourself to even
Yes.
do it,
And it's almost,
You know.
but here's the thing: it's like it makes you want to be grateful for that
Yeah,
stress and
absolutely.
pressure
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
trauma.
And just
because
like-
you at least now you can have the tools where I can go. If I want to do something, I know what it takes.
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
what it takes to actually go do something.
hey,
now.
being
know?
comfortable with adversity is about the biggest skill. You
Amen.
could be.
We all
you could
gotta
be
work on
granted-
it.
Yeah,
That's
I
a
think,
lifelong journey.
That's-
if I've ever
yeah,
heard
we all
of
gotta
it.
work
yeah.
on it.
There's sniffs on it.
Yeah, I think your 20s is seriously like about a coming of age of the mind and like almost not a conquering, but a learning to come to terms with it. Like you really,
'Cause you-
something that I've been
It's
realizing.
like who you were as a kid, and then now you're an adult, and it's like a completely different.
It's learning to
situation.
reconcile that, and
Yeah,
you
it's
and
almost
you
like
learn
learning
that
to
like
read
your
each,
mind creates
Yes.
your reality,
Yeah.
and like
You meet
how
yourself
to
again in your 20s.
how to
I feel
purposefully
like.
do that.
You do. You meet yourself again. That's good.
Yeah.
That's
dude.
true. That's a good way
I
to
was
put
gonna
it,
say about
man.
guitar.
Yeah, I like
Right.
that. I like that.
The thing, I had a great guitar teacher tell me. He said the guitar is the closest thing to your voice that you can get, and it's actually an extension of the voice that's in your mind when you're playing.
Yeah.
Because when everyone plays, there's some kind of voice in their head, whether it's their own or you're just hearing words, or even if it's not even words, spoken voice. It's you have an expression that's inside you that is you, and that nobody else could have. And like the guitar is very close because you can bend the notes, you can sing with it, and like I feel like it's really us trying to sing through our hands. It's like that's what it feels like when
it's
you
beautiful.
play. You know what I mean?
It's so expressive too. And I was talking to BB. You know, we talk about things that arose through COVID. I feel like being placed in to very like small spaces really like let me rediscover myself in a lot of ways. I was diagnosed with schizophrenia over the time I came. You know, we're not out of the pandemic yet, but like,
But it was in the last 2 years that you found out.
In 2020, that was part of it, man. That was part of Raw
Oh
Down.
wow.
I'm
Okay.
not, but I am
better get
very
on it, baby.
stable. I'm stable.
Well, we'll keep an eye on you.
Yeah, exactly. But when it's really reflective, like talking about things that are reflective in the album, we were in that process of making that album when I went into the psych ward, and it's been really beautiful because like everyone, it's funny because everyone.
Careful with the acid and mushrooms. Don't want a Sid Barrett situation happening.
No, I don't do any of that stuff anymore. That is a past far behind me.
Okay, cool.
But
I'm glad for you.
yeah, absolutely. Hey man, my world's psychedelic enough.
Me too. I mean, I haven't done a psychedelic in years, and I
Life
still
is
feel
the
that,
trip,
those
man.
Same lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Life is the trip.
Life is the, you know. But you know, it's really funny because like everyone in Tasteful, like we're all neurotic in these really interesting, like quirky ways. And then Hunter's a neuroscience major.
Yeah.
So I've just been observing and taking my notes. I'm just kidding.
Who's keeping an eye on who, doctor?
Yeah,
Sit there with a notepad.
Nah,
like,
y'all-
Today, Frank Cassidy. da-da-da.
Y'all definitely ground me so much, and I've learned so much about myself from you. So we don't even need to go into that. But
It's like we've really like since my diagnosis, we've really like turned a leaf on like being open about mental health and everything.
Yeah, that's
And
Absolutely.
like I would
Fucking rad, dude. Fucking
I would
rad.
attribute like my creative outlet, like, you know, I think singing and playing music is so important because it's when you feel something so internally and so deeply that not only do you want to say it, but you want to say it with a melody and you want to say it with a rhythm and a timbre and
feel
like
that.
a tone or a passion. And
I was the kid that would just sing in the hallways.
yeah,
so was he,
I would just scream,
bro.
and people
oh
would
my
walk
God.
by like, "What are you?" I'm like, "I'm singing."
Bro, Sam would be walking through the hallways at St. X just going, heartbreak warfare.
And like when it was empty, I would be like,
Yeah.
"Get all right, mama, I'm not joking, yeah." Like I'm fucking like screaming.
You're like, man, this natural echo, dude. What's up?
I swear to
so
God,
beautiful.
I swear to God, I would do that.
no man, I would
love
attribute
it.
so much of like me. Like it's beautiful that my dad, it's kind of funny that he gave me the guitar because it was really my outlet of like a lot of like familial like stress.
Yeah.
Where I was like, all right, well I can't go to you guys, but I can go to this. Right?
Always.
You know,
That was always
Absolutely,
my
man. I think that's something that like so many musicians have in common. It's just some sort of tension or stress in their upbringing or in their family or something like that that made music this special space for them.
When I got into
Like,
the wreck and
it
I
gave
broke,
it a sort of significance.
I broke my
like-
ribs, right? So I was like bedridden for a month, 2 months. Lost like all the muscle in my abs and everything.
I'll be right back.
And
Damn.
the first thing I did when I went home with broken ribs was play my guitar. It was so hard,
Yeah.
but I had to just play. I literally just sat there and just played one chord over and over again because that's all I could do.
Yeah.
That's all I could manage.
Yeah.
But I didn't care if it was painful. I just had to like feel the
do the
guitar.
one.
I just wanted
Yeah.
to feel
My
the
brother
air.
got
Man, it's
in an
therapeutic.
accident where he actually burned
don't know
his
why I did it,
arm.
but I
and
just
the
had
first
to.
thing he did when he got back was like test if he could play guitar still.
Yeah.
Like he was like, because he had like burned some of the like outermost nerves on his hand.
I remember that. That was wild, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Luckily,
tough,
most
like-
of your motion is on the inside of your.
Yeah, exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Yep.
Well, we didn't. It looked very bad, but then he recovered very well. Like it's very like it was
Burns can be like that. It's like if you don't get an infection,
Yeah.
it's not that bad. It's just painful.
Well, it was
right?
very
Shitty.
stressful, man, because I had just gotten out of the hospital with my diagnosis, and then he got burned.
Oh,
And then I was like,
What
my
was
mom-
he? Was he working?
He. It's okay. We don't have to go.
Okay.
we don't need
It's
specifics.
stupid.
Yeah.
It's not stupid on his part. It's stupid on a different level.
Blowtorch
Yeah, yeah,
accidentally
yeah.
fell over.
Some stupid shit. But like, it's funny because like I was dealing like like the one thing that actually like seems to like trigger me in any way. It's funny is like really high like stress or anxiety moments or like lack of sleep. Like I still smoke. I
huge.
still drink.
Huge.
I've been blessed. I have not done any psychedelics or anything since, and I don't plan to.
Probably not the best idea if you want to stay sane.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grounded.
Yeah, it was. Well, psychosis is a bitch, man. I was gone for like 2 weeks, man. And
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
very
that's-
beautiful though because it was like a good. I think the only use of like psychedelics is to use it as a tool of like a third party observation of yourself almost.
Yeah,
And like
learn-
to be in that
personal
state,
learning,
to be in that state where internally, like I felt like my body was being compelled to say or think things, and then there was like this voice inside was like that was observing all of these like intangibles, and just like intrusiveness, and it was
Do you have
you learn a lot.
ADHD?
I don't know.
Did you always have intrusive thoughts?
I don't think
I don't think
have
you
any
do.
ADHD.
I wouldn't say
No,
that.
I mean, well, I don't not like.
Which is interesting, like-
intrusive, like they, schizophrenic intrusive thoughts, and then just generally having.
Well, I read a paper that links people with ADHD are like 25% more likely to develop because they're linked neurotic in terms
Yeah.
of like the location in the brain. They can affect
Yeah.
each
What
other.
is-
But like I've always had extreme loud voices in my head.
Really.
I've always heard real voices that
See-
aren't mine,
Oh, they're not yours.
but they're
Okay,
still my
yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah.
But the voices are loud. Like I could tell
interesting.
you the timbre. Right
Yeah,
here,
well,
right
I
now.
hear that.
Curious.
I feel that kind of. I don't
Yeah,
know.
man.
But it's weird. I know it's unusual. I don't think I'm schizophrenic because I've never been compelled by any of the voices to do anything.
Yeah,
it's all
well-
inside my head, but it's a strong voice. And I when you said that, I just thought
It's
of
really
that.
interesting. I felt like really it was funny when even in my like point of psychosis, it was still like my voice. I think I may also have like possibly like just like some like borderline personality disorder with that. Just because like I go like from like I don't know, I'll get set off in like a very like emotionally like I won't react and act off anything.
Right.
But like I could feel like the chemical spike of like some
Yeah.
bipolar like
Yeah.
like I'll go from like intensely happy
Yeah.
to intensely sad to like I just waver between these
Do
like
you
varying
have
moments
just
of
curious? Are you in counseling? Or are you trying to do therapy or anything like that?
nope. I write the good song.
He writes the
The
song.
next album.
Rock and roll therapy.
It couldn't hurt to do
Yeah,
once every 2 months.
I have some. I don't know. I went into the facility I did, and it was just terrible.
Well, that's not what I mean. I mean
No, no,
somebody
I
who's
know,
gonna
no.
listen to you and just.
The thing is,
You're-
it's
like,
a lot
all
of,
you do in therapy is just talk at yourself,
Yeah.
and you hear yourself and your inner thoughts happening, and
Yeah.
so
Just vocalizing shit.
and it's not
grappling it with
judgment. There's no
impersonal.
judgment, so
The
you
thing
can see it
is
clearly.
with
So-
schizophrenia, it's
I think
such
I
like
should
a,
do it. Fuck.
Like you could have so many rights taken away from you. As
Everyone.
far as like,
Yeah, I know, it's a big
like
benefit.
yeah, it is crazy. And I'm really on the high functioning side, so it's really hard to even get seen about anything. Because as soon as like I had an actual therapist tell me that she couldn't see me, because I just wanted to tell her like, hey, if I am having like adverse hallucinations or something,
Somebody to call.
like do I get to like do I have an outlet in anyone? She was like, if you have adverse hallucinations, I have to send you to a psych ward and you have to get prescribed. And I just feel like if
well,
like,
medication might be also
Yeah.
helpful.
I've dealt with that too. I'm really
Yeah.
I'm
Well, I don't mean to pry.
no, I know.
Yeah, I don't know.
curious.
It's Sam. I feel like you're a case where no one would ever guess that
Yeah.
like that's happening, and it's
That's
honestly
actually fairly common
something
for
to be
schizophrenia,
said.
too. I mean,
for that.
especially like
Like-
early on when it hits early on in life.
Yeah.
A lot of people can live with it their whole lives, and it doesn't necessarily progress, but they're still going through it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and there's
it
such
doesn't-
a
it's
there's
not a
such a
matter of it getting
stigma.
worse. Like, there's high
Right, you don't have any
moments of
neurodegeneration
yeah.
happening. It's just some
It's
kind of
just
thing that has.
it's gonna be there.
It's
I don't know.
something with
I'm
your
very,
development.
I'm very
or-
comfortable with my mind right now, but if I felt like I was wavering, I would reach out for help. And like that's something like I've told the band, like consciously. It's like, bro, if you think I'm drifting, you have to
Yeah.
let me know, man. Because,
Absolutely.
like, you know, what?
When you guys say that to me, when you guys are like, "Hey, how you doing?" It really helps me a lot.
Okay. good
Yeah,
to
no,
know.
it really does. Because I don't think about that I need that from you guys.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's
it's
true. I
good.
get that. Like,
It's
I
good
get
to
that.
check in, man.
Yeah.
Hey man,
Cool.
the band is like a pseudo family, honestly. It's
Absolutely.
like really.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
I've heard it described as a marriage very often, which I understand in a lot of ways, and I've heard it described as a family, which I
Absolutely.
understand in a lot of ways as well.
Well,
Hey,
marriage
man.
is also family. And
We go
something
through
you're
our ups and
saying
downs,
you
for
need to be
sure.
a part of my
Yeah.
family now.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, let's take a hard left if that's cool. If there's anything else you want to say, go ahead.
Yeah, you guys
but-
got any plugs?
But
you got
I
any
have
shows coming up?
I have
or
some
anything?
questions that I haven't
Um,
asked yet.
As for plugs, I mean,
Anybody listening now is going to be interested enough to actually listen.
yeah. Now that you know everything,
Yeah.
no. Yeah, yesterday we were just in the monastery recording a live in studio for Christmas.
Awesome.
It's gonna be featuring Kayla Rose from Save Me Escape.
Sweet.
Shout out, thank you Kayla for doing that with us.
Shout out
Um,
Randall. Thank you for.
So that'll be
shooting
coming
it
out soon.
too,
We're
man.
releasing a track that we made. It's a punk Christmas track. I won't tell you what song, but it'll be
Fuck
coming out the
yeah.
17th. I don't know when this is gonna drop,
Done
but
deal.
It'll drop on the
but-
20th.
okay. Well, check that out in hindsight.
It'll already be out.
Um,
It'll be out, baby.
As for shows, I mean, we're booking stuff. We have house shows. We have a show down in Florida for New Year's. But yeah, we got January and February stuff coming. Hopefully with you guys, you know.
Website, Instagram,
soon.
anything?
Yeah, we would love to.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Instagram at Tasteful Band.
Yeah, and then we have check out our website. It's just tasteful-band.com.
Cool.
That's
Sweet
where you
Ola.
can find everything.
Absolutely.
There you go,
Catch all the
baby.
music on Spotify, Apple Music, all of it, man. At Tasteful Band.
Yeah, we just recently started this a newsletter that we're gonna be
Yeah.
dropping
Cool.
every month. It includes an article on everything that's been happening. Which, by the way, I wanted to tell you guys this
That's a
because
great
I want
idea.
to start
I'll write up an
incorporate. Yeah, I mean, sure, dude. Incorporating like other bands into this because I want it to become like a central news source
that
for
would be
people
awesome.
who want
A
to
community newsletter.
know
Yeah,
what's
that's
going
a
on.
great
Yeah,
idea.
So-
for rock bands around Cincy or
Yeah.
something
Yes.
like that. Yeah,
we could
yeah,
have like
cool.
we could have
Okay.
email lists again. Like we used to have email lists. We would have people sign up their emails
Yep.
and we put them on a list.
Yeah, I was
We could
about to
start
say.
doing that again and like sending people the newsletter every.
Yeah, I was
month.
about to say send in your email. Like, there's a couple different sign up spots, but on the website is one of them.
What's
If
it
you
called?
like to, what
Is there a name for it?
for the newsletter?
Yeah.
Right now it's called Tasteful Today, but we're working through it. That might not stay.
Tastefully
depends
toasted.
what sticks.
No.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, that's what's going on.
Tasteful, a slice of life.
What's the question? I was
Slice of
curious.
life.
Oh, I've got
Yeah, what you got?
Yeah. So I know that the previous iteration of Monogold Studios has disbanded, or I guess he moved. He moved
Yeah.
all of his equipment.
It
so
hasn't
Where
disbanded,
has
he
that
just-
gone?
So yeah, it has not disbanded. Monogold Studios is very much alive. Nolan is very much alive. He closed down his grandpa's attic location, which is where Rada was recorded.
Right.
His initial spot, because he moved over to Clotter Street. So he's still in Clifton, but I don't know where he's working out of. Studio wise, but I know that he does a lot of stuff with the monastery, with the lodge. Nolan's very connected. He has a lot of different studios that he works with. I think he has artists come into his home studio a lot and
Okay.
does stuff with that.
So
But
did
yeah.
he sort of rebuild in his new place?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, neat.
Yeah,
Did-
man.
Did he? So when he goes to do a production, if you know this information, is he sort of like a one-man show, like record, mix, master, production, all that sort of stuff?
I know that Nolan he definitely likes to, get the mix down. He doesn't do mastering as of now, but I mean, he's great at working with bands to get, pretty much the entire process
Well, we
all
can
the way
master
to
for
the
you.
recording product
Gary
down,
can master for you.
like the track itself.
Okay.
So
Damn good.
Gary
too.
needs some look. Hey, Gary needs some.
yeah.
work.
Yeah, I do provide that service. But yeah, I know. I'm not-
You should.
I understand Nolan is a close friend of yours, and so
Absolutely,
He
man.
said he does
Nolan-
masters.
I have
so
I have
just
no
throw it to the
intentions
master.
of stepping on toes or anything like
No,
that.
you
dude,
said- no, you said-
absolutely
only
not.
reason I
There
said
is
that 'cause
no
he said he doesn't
no
master.
stepping on
Yeah,
toes.
So I thought maybe you could do the mastering.
Yeah, there's
I
no
am the
stepping on toes,
master.
man. Nolan's such a great guy. I highly recommend him.
What's
to
his
you
last
guys.
name?
Nolan
Monagold.
Monagold.
No,
yeah.
Monagold.
Monagold.
Okay,
Yeah,
Monagold.
he would be
It
so
was-
down to work with you guys.
I would
if
love
you
to meet
want
him.
to.
It'd be fun, yeah.
And-
We should just
We
bring
should
him
get
over
to
here.
know every producer we possibly
Yeah,
can.
man.
I just
Let's bring
I
him
love
on.
to pick
Let's bring him
other-
on the show.
Yeah.
Talk shop.
Yeah.
I love
Nolan-
to pick
Nolan's a
engineers'
great guy to
brains.
Do you
talk
want
to,
to talk
bro.
about
Like,
someone about like the album process, man? He was there. He.
oh yeah,
I'm
Nolan's
telling
the
you,
one
man.
who.
Whatever happened, like Rada, the album
He is-
was like it's like how they shot The Shining. It's like something crazy happened to like everyone involved. Bro.
Hey man,
Like,
our
I'm serious.
fates are very intertwined.
Yeah, and-
like Nolan was the one
If you-
who recognized us, picked us up off the street essentially, and
It's
got our album out with
very
us. And,
funny.
Yeah.
But if now I relate the song on Rada. I wrote
Is that like the symbol for electricity? Electric
Om
resistance?
as in like the symbol. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
I interrupted.
I had no, you're fine. I had written this song in just kind of appreciation of Nolan, just because just as like I don't know, mental health is such a big concern for everyone coming out of COVID right now. And if you listen to the lyrics of that song, it really like talks about just understanding yourself and how you're perceived, and just a lot of things about just how just understanding the complexities of ego and losing that self
Yeah.
and developing out of that self. And trauma is a good source of ego death and a lot of good ways because
Yeah, that's what
although
we're named after, baby.
yeah, man, it really pushes like like we said, adversity pushes you forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
So-
one of the central themes of Rada.
Yeah, that
It's
tension
like-
is definitely prevalent, like that inner tension in a lot of ways. It's almost reflected in the way, like the album is all over the place as far as genres, but in like a desirable way. Like it's just like a really expressively like, I don't know, we were definitely
Oh,
just
man.
experimental
To
in so
me,
many aspects on it.
Yeah, to me, it really represents the process that we went through in
Yeah.
2020. Like, it starts with Oxygen, a very, like, lighthearted, happy, go lucky song. And it just progresses into, like, paint a picture, a very dark, like, family trauma oriented song. Fucking The End,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
getting lost in just like that wall of sound, like representing like losing yourself literally. Like that's how I interpret
Yeah,
it,
I
like
do
for
too.
what you went through.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
and then it comes to Rada, which is like the rebirth.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
That's fucking awesome,
full trip.
guys.
It's awesome.
It is a full trip, man.
That's awesome.
Rada's the
I
trip.
want to listen to it.
What's
I
the song? The Sparrow song. Is
Flight of the Sparrow.
Flight of the
yeah.
Sparrow. That's the full. Okay, that's
Talking
that's my
about
favorite on the album.
Industrial shit. That's
Yeah.
the conservation song, man.
We're out of video.
Oh,
Might-
cool.
I think it's probably a good place to start wrapping it up.
Yeah.
Hour and a half
we
in.
It didn't
we're
shut.
fine. We've been out of video for like 30 minutes.
I know, I know, but I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
it's
all
been,
good.
Oh, really? We're flying blind right now?
Um,
Oh,
been a while.
yeah.
time to
It's
end.
been-
I've
it doesn't
been
matter.
so worried
Hanging
about
out.
how my hair looks for no reason.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
While we're out of video.
Okay, I have one more question before I'm totally just freeballing things.
We're still sound. Very beautiful.
Nice.
That's nice. Do you play ukulele?
Clearly.
Yeah,
Years,
clear.
not
Yeah,
years.
doesn't
What
look
do you
like
mean?
it.
You can play
I've
it.
never seen one before.
Yeah, but
See how you get the like flamenco with it.
Whoa.
Yes.
Good stuff. This has been like the best
Sick.
podcast we've ever recorded. This
Yeah, this has been fun, guys, for real. It's always,
conversation.
we knew it would go like this. It's always great
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
being here. But yeah, what was your thing, Garrett?
One question.
my last question before I'm totally spitballing. So did you all sort of fall into your band's sound, or was it sort of intentional?
No, we absolutely fell into it.
I would say, I mean, I think it was pretty visceral. Like, It was sort of like just how we all interfaced as a group. It was, I mean, it was sort of like what we were writing.
Pure magic.
Really, like, once again, we're a band that, as of now, like, it's pretty much me and Sam, like, write the songs and bring them to the band.
Yeah.
And all the songs that came were, again, reflective of that process of that year, like the things that were going on, the emotions that were going on, the life experiences. And I don't know, I guess we were very psychedelically and like grunge inspired. So we definitely, there were a lot of intentional things, but I think it was just the culmination of all of our like,
absolutely.
tastes.
Something very beautiful in having like the people in our band and as a band is like people love everyone. Like people attach like people hold on to like all of us for some reason where it's like not just like there is no front man. Like it's really like so much like everyone's
I
identity.
feel that too. I
like,
feel
really
that when I watch you
reflecting.
guys.
Dude, that's
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel that when I
It
watch
shows.
you
It's
guys.
funny
I agree.
because like
That's cool.
I've learned our genres in general have expanded so much in knowing these guys. Like I love like me and Karthik like have this really like awesome bonding over like weird Japanese fusion and like
which is,
yeah,
dude,
yeah,
that stuff's
like
great.
cool shit. And then Hunter's really
You
like-
know, I like that shit too.
Yeah, dude, the
Well, Prank
Japanese,
Club's like-
bro, there's
I've
nothing like the
shown you
Japanese
guys
jazz.
a couple songs that like I've come in and been
Yeah.
like, listen to this.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're drinking over in Japan,
You ever
but
listen
bro,
to
the
anime
Japanese
music?
fusion
Oh,
is
yeah.
like,
banging.
You gotta go.
Shout out
banging,
Cassiopeia,
bro.
Banging.
man.
That's cool. It's really
That's
good.
cool.
Oh yeah, there's a song I'll
Frank-
show you
Well,
guys. when
remember,
we're
I
done
remember
here.
System of a Down
Oh.
was my. I mean, okay, so I had a band from like 12 to 14. I met these guys at 14. It was a brief thing, and basically I met this drummer. I went to School of Rock. You know what School of Rock
Yeah,
is?
absolutely.
Yeah. So I went to School of Rock, and it was just a week-long thing. It was the British Invasion week or whatever. So we like learned Beatles and like the Hollies and like
Oh, that's
all
cool.
sorts of shit. It was fucking awesome. And like when I was 12, I could already like solo, and I thought I was gonna be like a lead guitarist because I didn't know anybody else that could
Yeah.
play guitar.
Yeah.
And so I was like in that lead guitar kind of mindset, and I sang and played a song one time, and it was like really crazy. But I met this guy named Danny, who was a drummer, and he was like fucking just amazing. He was like, I'd never played with a drummer before, and he could just play anything that I came to mind. It was like, this is wild. And so I was like, we have to start a band. And long story short, it ended, and wait, what were we talking about?
School of Rock.
How it started, I think I was talking about.
Just
we were
everyone
just
being
talking about how
distinct
the
in their
sound, how we
identity in
create
the
our
band.
sound.
And
Oh,
how
yeah,
like
yeah,
we've
yeah.
all brought new like genres and ideas to each other.
Yeah, and it was just like a crazy experience to like I had this band, and I had given up on it because it didn't work out. We had this singer brought in that I didn't think was very good, and she ended up dating the guitar player, and it just started this really
Yeah.
fucked up.
Fill in the blanks. For
And
the
I
rest
really
of it.
was like on the verge of like giving up on. There's no way you can make a band that works, because like if these guys are this skilled, I thought that I had like a great group, you know.
Yeah.
And if these guys are this skilled, there's no way I can make a band work. So I started, but I got desperate, and I was like, Sawyer, we got to start a band. And we got these guys together, and it was completely different. As soon as we
So
sat
tell me,
down-
who is
And I
who
love-
actually is Sawyer? Is he, because he's not in
yeah.
Trauma? So
Yeah, Sawyer is he was in the original band. How did I meet him? I have no idea how I met
You
him.
met him through Brandon. Okay. so
Brandon, that's right.
this whole story sort of starts because Jack met a guy through swim, right? He said earlier that he was a
Okay.
big
Well, me
swim
and Danny
guy.
were together, and we were
Yeah.
like,
So-
me and the
yeah,
drummer,
yeah.
we were like, we're gonna start a band. Now
And how
need
we
a couple
fall into the
members.
picture, me, BB, and Sawyer,
Yes,
we all
yes.
fell in because this guy Brandon went to our high school, but was
Okay.
also a swimmer
Which
at a local
was?
club team. We went to
Ryle.
Ryle in Union, Kentucky.
Okay, gotcha.
I didn't
It's
go to
about,
Ryle,
it's about
but
20 minutes south of here,
Gotcha.
25 minutes south of Cincinnati.
okay.
And so Brandon learned guitar through being buddies with Jack and playing with Jack. And Brandon
So when I
knew
met
us in
him,
high
when I
school.
met him, he played me this song that was like really pretty. It was like some classical piece, and I thought that I kind of was under the impression that he was very experienced and he could improvise like me, like he could sit down and just write a song or play a song or whatever. Because by the time I was 12, I was like writing songs all the time, and I was playing blues. And
Hell
like,
yeah,
I
man.
loved that shit.
Yeah, same.
And it was like, and so I met him, and I was like, man, you got to join my band. And he comes in, and he has like no idea how to play a scale or what a note is. He doesn't even know what a bar chord is.
He was
And
just
I'm like-
naturally
and
like.
he's a smart guy, really smart guy, and he just wanted to learn So he took lessons, and this guy was teaching him songs, like individual songs.
Yeah, but
and he
not
was
really
really good at
explaining
this
it.
one song.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, I'll play lead for a while, but I'm going to teach you how to play lead. And so I taught him pentatonic, and I taught him the major scales, and I said, go home and practice that. And he gets really good pretty quick. And so he takes over. Long story short, they bring in this girl who he has a crush on, basically, and he wants her to be the singer because I wasn't very good. I was terrible, and I was the only one that was willing to sing. And my voice was changing. I was like, whoa! Like, I sounded like
rough
dog
little
shit.
transition period. Yeah.
I was like,
I'm
okay,
still
we
going
might need a
through
new
that.
singer. We bring her in, and she's good, but she's quiet, and we're loud, and nobody can hear her, and it's not working out for a while. And I find out they've been dating, and I specifically was like, we can't date in the band, guys. If we get a girl in, we just don't date her,
Yeah.
please. Because you can't focus and practice while you're staring at your girlfriend's ass the whole time. That's what I said.
Yeah. Hey, man.
And so he ends up dating her, and we broke up. I was like, oh, God. It's Sawyer at this point. Sawyer came on because Brandon knew him. So Brandon was a guitar player, and he was like, hey, I know this guy's really good at piano. And Sawyer was fucking incredible at piano. Like, he was super gifted, songwriter. He'd been, way more prolific than I ever was. Or any of us, really. I mean, he wrote so many songs by that time, and he was on his way to CCM. He graduated from CCM now. But
Oh wait, Sawyer.
I know, that's what I'm thinking, bro. I'm like, wait,
Robertson.
do we know? Yeah, bro.
He's friends with Mickey.
oh, there you go.
Yeah, bro, we know
you know, Mickey
Sawyer.
Sawyer.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
there you go. Then you know
That's
exactly.
fucking wild. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
wait, who's this Sawyer guy? Like,
Yeah,
same
so
guy.
that's crazy, man. Okay.
So it just ended up,
He's cool.
Hunter ended up leaving because he had just some issues that he was going through, and he's over it now. Like, we're all friends now. I mean, we're all friends. So, but we just had issues. He had this girlfriend that was kind of nuts. He's not still dating her, right?
No.
Okay, thank God. Okay, Hunter, I love you.
Sorry, for context, we're switching bands here. So for context, Hunter is the fifth guy.
Yes.
In,
So
in
me and
Trauma,
Sawyer. Okay.
yeah.
So the last band
gotcha.
ended, and I was like 14 at this time. Sawyer comes to me like a month later in the summer, in between school, and he's like, "Man, I miss this. We need to put together. I know a guy named BB. I know a guy named Garrett. It was BB first because you guys were hanging out and stuff. I had actually met them together, like a year earlier or something.
Something like that,
At
yeah.
Guitar Center. I was buying a guitar.
Yeah,
and
it was
BB
that
was
semi-hollow
there.
you had.
Yeah, exactly. I was trading in a guitar for another one, and BB was playing. I was like, man, you're really fucking good. And like a year later, Sawyer and I started to throw a party, specifically invite people that, from Ryle and also BB that might be interested. And so the whole point of throwing this party was literally to get BB as a guitar player. So BB comes over to my house, in my
Strategic.
parents' house, into my basement. And I hear him playing from upstairs. He's already playing guitar, and I'm like, this is different. Like, this is not a Brandon situation. This guy knows how to play, and he's known how to play for a while. And we start jamming, and immediately it was like, oh, yeah, dude.
It was
We
tits.
can jam. We
Nice.
started jamming.
That's how it
I was
is.
like, you got to come in. And I was worried that he was, like, going to be nervous or not going to want to do it. But he was like, let's fucking do it. Like, let's
Hell yeah.
please do it. And
Dude, it's just so funny how that comes together.
Yeah.
We've like
wild.
in the Cliff, like in our side of things in Clifton, like the people that we met, we used to throw these fat jams. Like,
Yeah.
there's this warehouse.
Well, we used to do that too. We used to have practice, invite all our friends over, and we would
Yeah,
just
bro.
practice in
There's
front
this
of them.
warehouse
It's
that
like-
everyone like practices at. Silmar practices there. Fat Sal practices there. Saving Escape sometimes.
Oh.
Lee, it's
Wait,
Lee and
is-
Liam's. If you guys know them, Lee Sullivan and Liam Scott. It's their
don't
their
think so.
space.
Is that spot that's got all these it's like exposed stone and shit? Like,
Yeah,
do
man.
You still,
it's
do
the
they
it's
still
the
play
vault.
there?
We call it the vault. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I've seen it on various stories and shit.
Yeah,
like
man,
that,
and
but-
we used to
yeah,
throw
okay.
these huge
get why.
jams there, and like all the musicians, we would just have all the musicians that we knew like show up, and they would just be like every iteration of the musicians there would jam, and it would be so hot. And this was all pre-COVID. Like this kind of stuff hasn't happened since, interestingly enough, except for like once or twice.
Damn.
Exactly. Well, we didn't know you guys, but
Just
like
off the radar, yeah, I guess.
yeah, it was very underground, very like musicians only.
Literally.
But we met so many, bro. We met so many of
Literally.
like the people who are like
In our
are mainly influential in our lives now. Like, and I don't know, it's just funny. Like all the different bands that are popping up now that are
Just the
different
convergence
iterations of these people.
The
like-
convergence of circumstances. It's
Serendipity.
just like crazy. And then so to just finish the story. So it was me, BB, and Sawyer for the first practice. Didn't have a drummer, didn't have a bass player. Me and BB were playing guitar, and it was a piano player. So we were like, okay, we need a drummer. And then was it you that?
I got sat next to Garrett in geometry
That's
that
right.
year.
Yeah.
That's perfect
It was
coincidence.
totally random. So
Nice.
he organized us in alphabetical order by last name, but they were columns, not rows of chairs. And his last name's Jordan, my last name's Kreider. So J and C are like nowhere close. But
Yeah.
it just so happened that we both sat in the front,
Yeah.
right next to each other.
Nice.
And so yeah, months go by.
I
and
know
he's like,
Garrett. He's a drummer. You might be willing to
Two
do it.
characters in the front row.
Garrett
man.
didn't
Yeah.
play set really. You just started learning set, right? You
No,
didn't.
I've been
He
playing
played set,
set
but he was only
before,
playing
but
metal
I only
music
played
and pop
metal.
music.
Right. You literally only learned like math rock and shit. Like
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Because he
fuck
was
with
like
that
really
stuff.
big into. You were big into like marching band, which is like really technically oriented. You were really into like the technical aspect of music, and you come in and me and baby like blues guitarists improvising shit. And I remember you being very like hesitant and kind of uncomfortable the first day. We had this moment that was like the first bonding moment that we had, where Gary got kind of frustrated, and he was like, I'm not. I was like, hey man, you don't gotta get angry. He was like, I'm not angry. And I'm like, I'm not angry. Like I was imitating him.
Oh, we've been there. We've been there. Trust me, bro.
Yeah.
Trust
And then
me.
we all laughed. We all burst out laughing. And then and then BB knew Hunter, or Gary knew Hunter from.
So Hunter, our old bass player, he moved into town from
Michigan.
Michigan.
Kalamazoo.
Man, what's
outside
up?
of
What's up with
Kalamazoo.
bass players named Hunter, bro?
Yeah. He moved into town when I was a sophomore in high school, and he was a junior, and he did drumline with me. So that's how I met him.
He
And
wanted to
then-
be a professional studio guitarist.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we were like, we need a bass player. Would you be willing to play bass? And he was kind of like, no.
Oh, well, what's up
But
with
then
that?
I was like, I don't want to play bass. And so we would switch off. It was totally
Damn.
disorganized. I think back now, it's hilarious.
How do
We
you
would like
feel
switch
about-
off. And then,
How do you feel about bass now?
well, I love it now. But I wanted to play guitar.
Yeah.
That was the whole reason I started the band. Was I wanted to play rhythm and sing.
That's so funny. man. That's so funny. Like so many bassists start off as guitarists.
Yeah.
Like the reason I picked
wait,
up
wait.
bass was like I didn't even know bass was an instrument until I played Guitar Hero and saw that bass was an option when I was like 10.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey Dad, you should give me a bass for Christmas." And I was like, "Fuck
Yeah.
it." But anyway,
That's rad. That's okay. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So Hunter
Wow.
he goes, okay, I'll be the bass player. We sit down, we're like, you gotta be the bass player, dude. And he's like, okay, I'll be the bass player.
You have
But
to.
I'm gonna go out and get a 6-string bass and tune it like a guitar and practice basically playing
What?
like a guitar.
It was gnarly. So he did this thing where he bought bass strings, and then he would buy another custom pack of strings, and so
to-
he would only use the low E string and the high E string of the
Yeah.
bass.
Yeah.
okay.
So he played a
he would
six
tune it
string. He played a
E-A-D-G-B,
six-string
E.
bass, yeah. And,
Okay, yeah.
the last string was from this custom pack, or the whatever, the top string and the bottom string were both from this custom pack that he both tuned to E, and the other 4 were regular bass strings.
Yeah.
What?
And it,
That's
long story short,
It
it
was
didn't
something.
really sound that
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
But anyway, we had
was
some
an
creative
experiment.
differences, and he had a crazy girlfriend who like made him basically an angry mess, and then
the crazy girl.
And so we split ways, and then he moved
Oh,
away.
getcha.
And now Hunter's like a good friend of ours, and he's like a great guy, and he just like went through a rough time basically.
Hmm.
And but you know, he wasn't in a state where we were willing to like work with him at the time.
Yeah.
And so and Sawyer before that, just basically. We all concluded together. It was kind of shitty the way I kind of told him that we weren't gonna like get along, or basically like, I didn't say anything
Weren't
mean.
gonna
I was just like
continue.
I came to him by myself and told him like we're thinking
Yeah.
about maybe going a different direction, and that was not a good way to do it. And so we all sat down together and had a conversation about it. And he concluded it was the best thing for him because he wanted to do his own thing and make his own kind of music, and that wasn't really the direction we were going. And so that's how Sawyer left, and then we had a creative difference with Hunter, and then we were like in a state of like, what the fuck are we gonna do now? And we all just got together. I was like, I'll play bass. I mean, I'll go get a
Yeah.
bass, and we just got together. And the first practice was like, oh my god, that's like so much better than anything we've ever done. We just started jamming, and we felt together. It was like just 3 people.
Yeah.
I guess we were just young and didn't really have the musical chops to pull off a 5-guy band yet.
Yeah.
And when we came into 3 people, it just came together so fast. And, you know, rename. We've been thinking about Trauma, Illinois for a while. We wrote a song called Trauma, Illinois.
We had when we were before we named ourselves that, we had an album called Trauma, Illinois because of the whole experience.
Yeah.
And then when it came time, it was like, all right, well, we want to go in a different direction. We're missing 2 of the original guys. Like, yeah, let's change our name. And we all agreed Trauma, Illinois was pretty cool.
And it's way better than Blank State because everyone thought it was Blank Slate. Nobody knew the name, and it was also the same band as like a million other bands called Blank Slate. And it just happened that this completely unique, randomized, because Trauma, Illinois was randomized from the hospital
Yeah, no, the
computers.
backstory is great, man.
Yeah.
And so it was
worked
like a
out.
perfect name, and there's nobody else going to think of that. So that's
Yeah,
really like
definitely unique.
How'd you guys land on Tasteful?
Tasteful was very off the cuff, man. We're always spitballing random stuff. We're just, I don't know. We were in the car and
No, we were in the bakery, man.
oh, we were in the bakery. The bakery is a yeah. The bakery is a our spot for baking. Yeah. And I think it was Karthik came up with Tasteful. I think he literally just said it, and we were
It
like,
was a yeah.
nice.
that's what's up.
That's a
no,
pretty
yeah.
sweet name.
It's a good band name. I
No,
like
I
it.
Yeah.
think someone
it's
literally
nice.
said
It's
we
quick,
need something
it's-
that's tasteful.
And it was just like, oh, hey, what
Honestly,
about
it
that?
might have been it.
And
Yeah.
I was like, well,
Once again,
I-
very off the cuff.
Here we go.
While
There
we're on
you
the
go.
topic of origin stories, where does Rada come from? How'd you settle on that for an album name?
Rada was well,
Rala.
we had gone through so many. What were some of our album names, bro? One of them was so we took a trip
Savannah
to
Sunrise.
yeah. Dude, we actually did a promo video with that. No, but yeah, we went to
He's like Rada, Rada. No, Rada, Rada.
yeah, we went to St. Augustine, Florida to record a little bit of the album with Frank's dad's gear, which is all like he has like a fucking museum of
vintage.
guitar shit,
Oh,
vintage
cool.
guitar shit.
Okay, nice.
So we visited this place called Savannah on the way, and they were like Savannah Sunrise. So that was one of them. I think I have a notes page of like other names that we had.
Avenged
In the Dark,
Sevenfold.
Tasteful in the Dark, or something like that was one of them.
Wow, yeah, those are different.
Savannah Sunrise. That's
You guys remember when we had
Sam wanted hot stuff.
we had a dry
That's my
erase.
old guitar teacher's band name. They were called Hot Stuff. Yeah.
I wanted also Hot
So just goes to
Penguins.
show you how easy it is to come up with a band name that's already been come up with.
yeah.
Very hard to find one that's like.
But Rada came about because we were nearing the end of the album, and Rada was the last track, and it's sort of Rada is sort of like it's a very psychedelic track, but it's sort of about rebirth. It's about coming, like, I don't know.
Does it mean is it as a word in some language?
Rada is the goddess of
Hindu or
it's
Yes.
so it's in
Rada is basically like I think it's like kind of like the
I'm gonna
true
look up what her
love of,
actual
yeah,
her actual representations.
fact check.
Yeah.
Rada
Snap,
goddess
snap.
representation.
but it's like
But she's like the goddess of
true-
love, of
true love
compassion,
of Krishna.
symbolizing the human soul, and the male Krishna is her eternal consort. But anyway, again, the idea of rebirth was sort of central to us, I guess, over the course of that album. And Nolan was the one who was like, "Why don't we just call it Rada?"
Yeah.
And so they kind of stuck.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Okay.
lovely. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah.
Alright.
What if
But
it was
yeah.
like tasteful oxygen, guys? Come on. Like, it was
Yeah.
it could have been like tasteful. I don't know, man.
Muhammad
Running
Ali.
in circles or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
We weren't really set on doing an album name, like a song name for the album name. But then Rada, it's also like the eclipse of like the album. Like it's really like the end, and the Rada is like I don't know. It really turns a new leaf for where we.
Are headed.
Yeah. Well,
Which
you
is
know,
like
really,
writing a great
not
paper.
not even like in the same, like just like philosophy. Like it's more like on a philosophical scale than it is like we're not really like
We're tasteful. We're philosophers.
yeah yeah. Well, we're not really like we're moving to a lot of like soul funk,
Yes.
groove oriented stuff. But like it's just like the idea of like really being like honest and earnest in your lyric writing has always been central to like the integrity of how me and Hunter write songs. And I feel like the second side of Rada, like it's like the first half is kind of like all these cool songs and concepts for songs, and the second side is very like starting with Love Hurts on is very just like revealing and vulnerable. And
Love hurt sometimes.
But
Yeah, there was a lot of vulnerability in those songs.
yeah, and it's just, and I think we've kind of the songs we have coming out now still play on that idea of like we have like very vulnerable songs that are very intentional and like being commentaries on ourselves.
Yeah.
We have
Yeah.
very like fun songs that are just fun, you know, ideas and still just as like creative or like telling a piece in what it is.
Yeah, well, what I've been toying with recently is like writing these songs that are representative of not necessarily like, I don't know, like darker stuff or like more like trialsome stuff, but to the backdrop of like a more lighthearted dancey song, like a 70s song. Because I just feel like
Yeah.
that's so representative of life, bro. Like trials that happen despite
You know,
just
the
keep on moving.
the biggest
like,
lesson I've ever
just, like,
learned.
You dance your way through
Keep
it.
on
yeah,
moving.
something
Yeah,
like
like-
that.
The
yeah.
greatest lesson and the biggest lesson I've ever learned that's helped me more than anything is that pain can actually be pleasurable. And not like
I mean,
in a
I'm a
sexual way.
masochist
If not
too.
only in hindsight, man.
I don't
yeah,
just
bro,
mean in a
it's like,
sexual way.
it's
I
good,
mean
right?
going through something and
In
being
hindsight,
aware and
especially.
feeling your pain, even in the moment. Even in the moment, you can have a mix of joy, or not joy, but almost like this was going to happen, and coming to terms with that while it's happening, and afterwards, it's like you can turn any experience. Any experience is life, and life is fucking amazing. You know, and it's like worth living.
Life is the trip.
Yeah.
And that's why
And life is
songwriting
worth
is so
living.
great.
So the
It
pain
captures life.
is good. The pain is something that you want, even though you can't prepare yourself for it, and there's no way you'll ever, willingly go through it. But it's going to happen, and like that is like, it's just so central to like just staying stable and grounded.
Man,
Like,
and
to
in
me,
the
like,
end, I think that I would honestly, I've always felt that like in the end, everything that has happened in life, like whether it was good or bad, I'm thankful for, bro. Like I'm
Absolutely.
thankful for pain that I've gone through.
Absolutely.
I would not be who I am. Like,
Yeah.
and that's definitely.
hey, I mean, sitting in the
extends to
hospital
other
bed
people.
I've never been happier than when I was in the hospital bed with broken ribs and fucking pumping full of morphine.
Makes you realize what's.
I was crying
good.
with
I would
happiness and
too, buddy.
gratefulness.
I would too.
I literally was so
Yeah,
grateful because I was just resigned to die. I was like, I'm gonna die now. I guess I get to live this long and that's it. And I woke up and I was so happy, like so unbelievably happy. I was joking, I was laughing, the whole time. And even though I was like in crazy pain or whatever it was just like that is life. That is what it is. It's like
Oh,
that moment
fuck.
is so, indicative. Of
Sorry, you saying that reminded me of of a pretty fucking epic story. So after Jack got all fucked up, like everyone got discharged from the hospital that day, basically. Like
They all came
or
to
that
visit
night.
me.
That night they all came. Like everyone except Jack got let out, and so we all went to visit him a few days later, and we go up to the ICU, and I'm the first one that walks in the door, and when I walk in, Jack is
I was like,
he's like contorted his body in all
Damn.
these ways.
I knew he was
like he
coming.
was never the fucking same person again. And I walked in, I'm like,
I wanted to think I was like
That's funny as
paralyzed.
hell, bro.
and then like we all walk in and he drops the gimmick and we're like, what the fuck?
Bro, that's
Oh my
great.
God, yeah.
That's actually great.
And I was laughing so hard. It was like I was like dying of pain, but I was laughing. I didn't care because it was so funny.
Yeah.
Nice. That's pretty
Everyone,
about that.
Oh my God.
like everyone was in
Oh
on it
my
except
God.
us walking in. Oh my god.
That's like a once in a lifetime
my
chance
God.
prank.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
yes,
I was like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
have
And
to
you
do
capped
this.
on
Yeah,
it. Good on you.
yeah.
He got us so good. Okay. Well,
Sheesh.
I do have one more. I have another question. Catherine Sharp is the person that did the other vocals on Oxygen, right?
Yes.
I have no idea how do you guys know her? Does she sing in another band, or did you just know her and she has a good voice and threw her on, or like?
She,
Well, what's the context
She
there?
was a friend of Frank's actually. She went to Indian Hill.
Yeah.
She was Frank's prom date, I believe, once upon a time, and she went to UC. I think she's in a sorority. But Frank knew that she sang. he brought her and he knew that she had a good voice. She does like pop stuff. She has some stuff on SoundCloud, but she's not in a band or anything.
Okay.
As far as I know.
She
But
does
yeah,
have
she
like a SoundCloud that I think she still actively contributes
drops stuff on, yeah. But she has a
cool.
angelic voice, so smooth. It blended very well for the track. It blended well with my voice, and like, it was a pleasure recording with her. It was fun.
Cool.
I want to get, you know what? I want to get like Julia, Belle, Haven. They're all like trained singers. Like we could do like background girl vocals. Like we know.
Hey man,
That would
the
be fun.
female vocals
Yeah.
are awesome.
But like just a recording, like it might be an interesting. We have that tool. You know, I've always wanted to try bringing other people in, and you know, it might be fun.
It's funny that you do the little ooh la 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 because honestly, man, I can't like stress how much I thought that Zach Mooningham or whatever his name was in that movie
Was like
played that guitar solo, and then as a kid, I was like, "Damn, he's good. I gotta get good."
I was
Right.
I didn't
so
make the
jealous.
disconnect, and I
It's
was
like,
I was
God,
like,
fuck this
and
guy.
I like learned the solo in like a month or two, and I was like, "All right," and then like. Fucking,
I love
it's
that
so
fucking
funny, bro. I
movie.
look back now and it's like he's so obviously not playing that solo.
right.
The same thing happened. I don't know, bro. I get like too like, I guess I don't know. Just like I see someone else doing really awesome things.
You know
I'm
that
like,
they
I gotta
did
do
a
awesome
reunion.
things.
They did a reunion concert where they
man.
all played.
The drummer passed.
He-
man. Did you
yeah,
hear about
yeah,
that?
Oh,
Yeah,
you know, I
he
I
died.
remember seeing that now.
Yeah.
It was like a freak thing too.
Yeah.
It was like a heart condition. or
Yeah.
some
He's got to be
rare-
like our age
Yeah.
or a little older.
They're
He's-
like
he's a
all
little older.
He's
I think
older.
they're like 30s and stuff.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Just
about
hit
10
that. I
years
think
older.
they've got us by about 8 years.
Because
or
they were
so.
like 12, 13
Okay.
when that film.
Yeah,
it was like
yeah.
2004.
Yeah.
We were like 6 or something. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Curious.
No, that, and I mean that's like Jack Black's like peak performance.
Oh my god.
Let's be honest.
Have you ever seen his band? Oh my god. Tenacious D is actually fucking legit. They're good.
Oh yeah.
They have a great cover of Time Warp.
They're awesome.
Oh my god.
I don't know how to play the metal on ukulele, but I wish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now wrap up?
Well, I'm out of questions.
Well,
so if you all have anything,
I mean, it's 2 hours.
I mean,
Let's get
hey,
to the point.
Yeah.
please. We're technically it's hour 30. We had like 25
Right,
minutes.
yeah.
Of,
Yeah, there's some
Yeah,
bullshittery going
bullshit,
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Plug your
Love
social
you guys.
media, please. Yeah, like once
Again.
again, where can we find you? Where can we listen to you?
absolutely. You can find us on. We have all the social media, but mainly Instagram is where we post all the updates, all the shows that are going on in the
Tasteful
area.
Dash Band.
Tasteful, yeah. On Instagram, it's just Tasteful Band. Hit up our website. It is tasteful-band.com. That's where you can sign up for the newsletter. It's where you can see tour dates. You can see our blog posts are about pretty much everything that the band does.
Same goes for us, guys.
Yeah, hit up these boys. Fucking awesome
I'm
dudes.
just kidding. I'm just-
All that stuff.
It's our YouTube channel. Isn't it?
Yeah.
They're already watching it.
But yeah, fucking stay updated with what's going on in this area to all y'all listeners out there.
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
You are
Don't
always
sleep
welcome.
on Cincinnati,
Real
everybody.
community out here.
There is
man.
good stuff going on here, and it is definitely looking good for 2022, man. I'm
Well,
so excited.
2022 is the year, man.
2022
I'm
is
feeling
the
it. I think
year,
we're
man.
taking. I think we're taking the.
You know, there comes that point
2022, man.
in every D&D campaign. You have to name the group.
Yeah.
That always happens. So at some point, somebody's got to name the Cincinnati band group.
this is-
Oh
group.
yeah, the scene.
Yeah.
And it's got to
man.
be super fucking silly.
Yeah, yeah. We'll figure something out. Probably
We
when
will
we're
have to
drunk
figure
at 3 in the morning one night.
Yeah. Okay.
Comment what you
So-
think it should be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
comment.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Hey,
there we
everybody,
go.
leave comments, please. Like and comment. It really helps us out if you're watching right now.
This
Like and
is
comment.
this is Big Brother. No social commentary allowed. I want no opinions based on any of the. Yes. You cannot comment on any of the things we have talked about
How
or
dare
said.
you? How dare you?
Music is about lack of free will.
Yeah.
Keep it PC.
Is a
Handling
dictatorship.
that.
Music is a
Please.
dictatorship.
Last thing,
right.
if there's any shows you want to
I am
promote or
watching.
anything going on in the next handful of months that you want to get the word out for, please, now's the chance.
We will have a number of January shows. We're gonna have a show at the Mockbee. That'll be really cool to come out to. It'll be a fundraiser event for a new skate place opening up.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, I don't
I
know about.
believe in January.
Listen to the music, everybody.
We'll have
Like
our
the Instagram.
live at Radio Artifact. We did just drop our Paint a Picture live in studio on Bearcast
Yes.
Media.
And above all, we are about to drop our A/B side, Why Did You Text Me, and Carousel, a soul song and like a sort of a skiffle esque song in probably February. So that's the next biggest thing for us.
All right,
Very
sweet.
nice. Awesome, guys.
Yeah, man.
Well,
it was a
gentlemen,
pleasure.
thank
you
you.
guys so much.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Oh,
Thank you,
yes.
boys.
One last
Always a
thing.
pleasure.
Pleasure.
We do need to take these. I know the camera's not on.
Yes, we do need to take this. So I was thinking,
Gotta
so
take
like if it has
Was it
sriracha,
sriracha
it's a
slammers?
sriracha. It's a sriracha slammer.
It needs to be a
This is a
sriracha, yeah.
spicy slammer.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
So
we're
spicy
making-
slammer is the assorted, but
Yeah,
sriracha has its
yeah.
own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Racha Slammer. It's like my wrestling. move.
Copyright Tasteful in Trauma, Illinois.
Yep.
Well, yeah, actually, we won't show it, but just, we're taking a shot of Sky vodka with a Frank's Red Hot rimmed shot glass.
Try it at home. Take it with us.
Yeah.
Ah,
Signature special.
signature
Unless
special.
It's very
You're-
tasteful.
Spicy Slammer.
Ah.
It's also
Under
very
21.
traumatizing. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's my
Amen.
best. Thanks again, guys.
Thank you guys.
Hell yeah. Thank you
Yep.
guys. Thanks for having us.
Outro music.
Love you. Peace.
Good shit, boys.
Yeah, I think we